All right, so this is going to be Trump rally in Montana. I'm also going to watch Kamala's rally too, if that's your thing. But right now we got Trump in front of us. Curious to see what he is going to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is a big crowd. A nice crowd.
They keep having a pissing match back and forth on whose crowd is bigger. It's kind of getting ridiculous at this point.
Thank you very much, and a very, very special hello, Montana. I've been traveling all over your state. I'll tell you, I know Montana better than you know. I was all over your state today. Everything's 2 hours. When are we going to be there? 2 hours, sir, 2 hours. I got to like Tim Sheehy a lot to be here. I have to tell you. He better win. He better win. No. This is some beautiful country, though. I did do a lot of driving. I'd go to one. We went to some friend's house, a really good friend's house with your governor. You have a great governor in this state. You know that, Greg. You have a great. But we went around the state, and it was so beautiful. And I'd say, when will I be there? Approximately 2.5 hours. So, oh, great. Thank you. It's a big state. It's a beautiful state, and we love it. And we've won it every time by a lot.
Yeah, there's not a lot of competition here.
I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible place, this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. You built the country. Less than 3 months from now, we are going to defeat radical left Democrat John Tester. He's terrible. He is terrible. He is terrible. And send Tim Sheehy to the United States Senate. We're going to evict crazy Kamala. Do you know, ever hear of Kamala? Radical left.
Crazy Kamala.
Radical left.
Radical.
Well, she has a couple of things that a lot of people from Montana would like. Like, she wants to take away your guns. You like that, right? All right, how about this? She wants to defund the police. Are you okay with that? She wants to allow millions of people to pour into our border through an invasion, using an invasion process. I don't think so. I don't think that's for you.
Invasion
it's not for
process.
me either. It's not for most people in this country. We're going to evict crazy Kamala, and we're going to get Joe Biden out of the White House. What's he doing now? Greg, what's he doing?
You are blocked.
You know, he wanted to debate.
Get out of here.
If we didn't have a debate, he'd still be there. Can you imagine if we didn't have a debate? Why the hell did I debate him? How did he do? Do you think he's happy with it? I don't think so. He's not too happy. You know, they took it away from him. They really did. They took it away. The guy had 14 million votes. She had none. But I'd rather run against her. I think she's easier to beat. I really do. I believe it. And we are going to make America great again. We're going to make it so great. This election is about saving our economy, ending inflation, securing our borders, restoring respect for our nation. We're no longer respected. Preventing World War III, especially for all these young people, these young, beautiful people. We don't want to get them into World War III. And stopping a 1929-style depression, because that's what's going to happen. You saw what happened last week. With your vote, we will reverse the Kamala crash, and we will end the Kamala chaos, and we will stop the Biden-Harris invasion of people that don't belong in our country. They're invading our country. Kamala Harris, you know, it's interesting. Nobody really knows her last name. If you ask people, do you know what her last name is? Nobody has any idea what it is. Harris. It's like Harris. I don't know. How the hell did this happen? You know, they said, so we had the debate. He didn't exactly do well. And they actually, CNN was very nice. They said, that was one of the greatest debate performances I've ever seen, said by a very important person at CNN. Then what happens? 2 days later, they said he was lousy. They don't talk about me anymore. They just said he was lousy. And he was pretty bad, you have to admit. But we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn this country around. We're going to turn it around very fast. We're turning it around very fast. And Kamala is not up to the job. He's not up to it. Neither is Tester up to it. You know, Tester, everyone thinks like he's my best friend. He's never voted for me once, and yet his commercials is, I like Donald Trump very much. I love his pride. I love his border stance. He votes against the border. He voted against funding of the border. He said, I love his stance on energy. He voted against our energy programs. He votes against us 100%. He's voted in favor of crooked Joe Biden 100% of the time. He did it last time with the election. We had the same problem. Do you remember? He comes out, everyone's saying, he really likes your policy a lot. He doesn't like, he's a radical left lunatic, just like Kamala, and we got to elect him. We got to get him in.
He's talking a lot about local politics to Montana, which I don't really care about too much because I'm not from Montana.
Gotta get Tim in. Since becoming a presidential candidate, she has refused to do a single interview. You know why? Because she's dumb.
That's true. Not the dumb part, but the interview part.
Single press conference. She won't hold a press conference.
Maybe the dumb
She
part.
won't do it.
I don't know.
She won't do it. She doesn't want. And they're easy questions, you know, because the press. Look at them back there. Look at all of them. A lot of press. They're rigged. They're rigged. They're fake
Boo
news.
press. Stupid.
You know, I looked and I get these tough questions from the press all the time, and I look at the questions that Joe got, right? Where do you think you're having dinner tonight? What will you eat? Will you have ice cream for dessert? No, I don't know. It's unfair, the questions are so hard, he says.
What?
No, the way they treated him and with me. I won't use the questions because I don't want to give many ideas. They give me the worst questions. They are so nasty. They are the nastiest people, I think, on earth.
They can be.
And Kamala gives the exact same speech over and over again. Over and over. The same exact words. One of the people put it up, like they put 6 of them up, and it was like every single word is the same. I don't do that. I got to give you a little bit of variety, right?
Trump does the same thing too. He just kind of rambles on so it sounds different. But yeah, Kamala definitely does that in all of her speeches. It's all scripted.
I change all these damn speeches. Where are my speechwriters? I'm going to do that. Just have one speech and just for the next 90 days go out and just read that thing. But we don't like to read teleprompters, right? It's not as much fun. It's not as exciting.
It saved your life.
And somehow it's never as good, is it, huh? No, I think we're going to write up one standard speech. You read it from beginning to end. You know what would happen? You'd start walking out. They'd say, oh, look, Trump's not holding. How about yesterday? They said, oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd. The press is talking about the crowd. In New Jersey, I had 107,000 people. The press never even talked about it. They don't talk about it. Right? They don't talk about it. Because they're fake. I went to South Carolina. We had 82,000 people. Front row Joe, look. We have many front row Joes. We have Mr. Wall over here. Look, I love that suit. Do you think he's in favor of building a wall? I think so, yes. I think so. He's great. How many of you come to? Over 200, right? And you know, he's a great guy. He's like, makes a lot of money. You've got to make a lot of money. He travels all over the country. But the front row Joes are great. We have so many people. They've been to so many of the rallies. The rallies are great. We had a tough one 4 weeks ago, very tough one, right? We had a very tough one. Lost a great person, Corey, great firefighter, great person, really amazing man. Corey, you're a tough one. Huh? And two gentlemen, real Trumpers, real Trump people. The people, they love our country. What's a Trumper? They love our country too. Really, really badly hurt. They didn't think they were going to make it, and they did make it, and they're going to be as good as ever, and they're great. The doctors in that whole Butler area did a phenomenal job, I will tell you. They thought these two would not make it, and they not only made it, they're going to be, they'll be as good as new, but it'll take a little work, but they got hit hard. All
No
Kamala
doubt.
does is read that teleprompter while pretending she had nothing to do with any of the disasters that they, she's totally given up of all of the things. She said, I want this, I want that, I want that. Now she doesn't want any of it. And then they accused me of being horrible when I questioned her. She wanted to be non-energy independent. She wants windmills all over the place, windmills. Put a windmill on top of the building. We have so much oil under our feet. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any country in the world, including Saudi Arabia and Russia. And we don't use it. 4 weeks ago, think of it. 4 weeks ago, the media said she was grossly incompetent. And I said, oh, this is going to be an easy race. She didn't have a chance of beating me. She couldn't do anything. They wanted to get her out. They thought she should resign with...
Trump is absolutely right on this part. The media hated her. She was the border czar. She wasn't doing anything. She wasn't going to the border. And then overnight, suddenly she is this heroic figure that we all need to band together and vote for.
Crooked Joe Biden. What do you like better? It doesn't matter anymore, but what do you like better? Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? Sleepy Joe, Crooked Joe.
Sleepy Joe's funnier.
Okay, ready? They're both correct. I think Crooked Joe is more correct than Sleepy. You like?
Yeah.
All right,
Sleepy
ready?
Joe nailed it.
Crooked first, right? What do you like better? Crooked Joe
Oh, wow.
or Sleepy Joe? Not bad.
I think it's Sleepy Joe. Probably louder.
Crooked seems to always win. I mean, he's a crooked guy. All he had to do is think of it. If he didn't do the debate, he'd still be running. They'd be saying how great he is. He's a brilliant man, a wonderful guy, really at the top of his game. He wasn't at the top of his game 25 years ago, I'll tell you right now. And she's worse than he is. She's worse. He's smarter than she is. But the Democrats didn't have the courage to force her off. They didn't have it. They didn't want to do it. It was politically incorrect. And now the media is saying that she's wonderful. She's wonderful. The same people back there, 4 of them I recognize so perfectly.
Yeah, they flipped on her so quickly. She's
If you
amazing
can't
now.
do a press conference, you cannot be president, okay? That's it. She doesn't do anything. Remember when I used to always walk up to the press under the helicopter or under the wing of the plane and I'd talk to them? I loved it because if I didn't like their question, I could say, I can't hear the helicopter.
Stupid.
But they do mini versions of it. Nobody ever did that before, you know. That was it. And they copy, everybody copies me. So now she walks up, she'll take like a half a question and she'll leave. Joe is bad. Joe couldn't hear, he couldn't do anything. It was an embarrassment to that art form. That was an art form. It was an embarrassment. Kamala, sometimes referred to as Kamala. You know, she got about 9 different ways of pronouncing the name. And because the press is so dishonest, no matter how you say it, they'll say you were wrong. You were wrong. I don't care if I get it right. Actually, I couldn't care less.
Damn. That's a cold hit right there. I don't care.
I actually haven't been accused that I know of calling it wrong, but if I did, they'd say that he did it on purpose. And you could do that. I've done a lot of bad name calling where you call somebody that you know how to say the name perfectly and you call it on purpose. They say, sir, you made a mistake. I said, no, I didn't. Kamala will not answer for her record of failure and weakness. A doctor, please. Doctor in the house. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, what happened?
Thank you. Take your time. Take your time, Doc. Thank you very much.
Someone must have passed out.
Thank you. Thank you. We love these people. They wait for 2 days sometimes, and then it's tough. It's not easy. Are they okay? Thank you very much. And doctor, take your time. Good.
It's good to get a doctor there.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit if I can. What was that?
Take your time,
That
doctor,
was
please.
ridiculous.
We got a lot of time, right? Nice Friday evening. Friday evening in my...
Nice.
A little closer, that's the one thing. But that's okay.
Is he back into it? No, he's still watching. A little bit forward.
That's all right. Greg says we have all... You got one of the best governors. I don't know.
Let's get back to the speech.
We better get 4 more years, or we're not going to have a country left if we don't get 4 more years. We're going to not have a country left.
Hopefully the person's okay.
That's why so many people, they come and they waited for days. They wait for days, and it's tough. It's tough. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Yay. Wow. Thank you, honey. That's great.
They're really lucky they had a medic there.
That's really good. Incredible people. So when you're commander-in-chief, you don't go to the run and hide away from the press. You know, they go and run, and they want to go on a record that's a fake record. They have a fake record, both of them. How about the new guy? How do you like him?
The VP. Yikes.
And anytime you tell a story about anybody, by the way, Steve Daines, how good is he? True. He's one of the finest. He's one of the finest people you'll ever meet. I really mean that too. And it's an honor to be with you. And you want to do this so badly because you want to save the country. We need the Senate. We need the Senate. So thank you, Steve, for being here. Thank you. And what a beautiful family. But you don't get to flee from tough questions, and you don't get to read a teleprompter like for short periods of time where you make a speech that's like 2 minutes and everything is right off the teleprompter. What a lot of work to do for that.
Or only go to debates that are siding with your party, like ABC. Come on.
And you don't sit across the table from Vladimir Putin and President Xi of China. They're lovely individuals. If you can't handle our press, because they're not as tough as you think. I've been handling them for 4 years, and then another 4 years. They don't stop. They keep coming at you. They're the worst. But we're going to do something. We're going to have the biggest victory. They're going to celebrate, because I think silently they do celebrate. I think silently they do. I think silently they're for us. They're afraid to say it, right? They're afraid to say it, but I think silently a lot of those people back there in the press, and that's a lot of people, but I think they're for us. For nearly 4 years, Joe Biden's mental incompetence has given Harris a free rein to impose her ultra-liberal agenda on America and others with her and destroy our country. You're destroying our country. Joe Biden was exposed during the debate. Likewise, Kamala will be exposed during the debate. She will be exposed during the debate, or debates.
These debates are going to be really good. I'm going
But
to
so
stream
far,
them.
she's refusing to debate. We want to have a debate. Think of it. So she wants to have no debates, but one maybe at the most. And she wants it to be on ABC, because ABC with George Stephanopoulos. Have you ever heard of it?
She wants the debate that was agreed upon with Biden. She's trying to say that that was a debate that they had already agreed upon, but it wasn't with her, it was with Biden. And Trump's proposing they're going to have at least 3 debates, all with, shared moderators. We do one at Fox, we'll do one at CNN. Actually, they already did one at CNN, but he's trying to make it a little bit more fair, and she's not on board to actually do multiple debates. She only wants the one that's going to favor her with moderators.
It's the nastiest of all. Who would think it, right? You think of NBC's terrible, and they are. MSNBC is disgusting. But the worst might be ABC, and that's the only one she'll do. And you know, when Biden came out with a brilliant idea to have a debate, how did that work out for him? Not so good. But he came out, they handed me Jake Tapper, sometimes referred to as Fake Tapper, but I have to tell you, he was totally fair, and Dana Bash, and they were totally fair. They really were. CNN. So they said, we want to debate. They gave me one option, because they weren't going to debate. He didn't want to debate. They gave me one option. CNN, Dana Bash, and Jake Tapper. There will be no audience. There will be turning off your mics as soon as you finish speaking, and if you go over 1 second, they turn off, and they make you look very bad. The good part is he didn't use much of his. You know, they give you 2 minutes, and they'd say, right, you have 92 seconds left. And I kept saying, I'll take it. Can I have it? I want it. I want the 92 seconds at this. And then they'd do another one. You have 37 seconds left. That's a lot, you know, when you're up.
They were also trying to shut down streamers from actually streaming the debates. They wanted to control the opinion on how the debates went by themselves entirely. It was kind of fucked up.
There, 37 seconds. And that's the last thing he wanted to hear because he didn't want to talk anymore. You have 77 seconds left. He goes, oh, show. What am I going to do? This is who our president was. And now we have somebody that's worse, in my opinion, worse. You have to remember, they said that he couldn't beat me now. I mean, after the debate, he was down, way down in the polls. They didn't even want to show the polls. They said he's not going to win. So they said, we're going to take him out and we're going to put somebody new in. This never happened to anybody before. We spent $100 million fighting crooked Joe Biden. And then all of a sudden they decide to take him out and put somebody else in. She never got one vote. She was the first loser in the primaries. You know, she ran against Joe Biden and everybody else. I think they had like 16 people running. She never made Iowa the first state. I love Iowa. You know why I love it? Because I win it every single time with the farmers. We win it. But she never made Iowa. She was the first one to quit. And now, and stupid, honestly, she was the nastiest to him, too. And then he picked her. I couldn't believe it. And she was part of the cabal that got him out. You know, they got him out. They said, we'll do it the nice way, or we'll do it the hard way, Joe. We'll use the 25th Amendment, and we'll call you mentally incompetent, and everybody will believe us. And, you know, what they did is a terrible thing, actually. They forced him out. It was a coup. We had a coup. That was the first coup in the history of our country. And it was very successful. He said, okay, I'll leave. If that's what you want, I'll leave. And now he's seeing what the competition.
G. Miller says victimhood on full display. Go ahead and let me know what you mean by that. Are you talking about Trump? Are you talking about Harris? Let me know.
I hear he's going to make a comeback at the Democrat convention. He's going to walk into the room and he's going to say, I want my presidency back. I want another chance to debate Trump. I want another chance. But I handed Kamala and Crooked Joe a surging economy with no inflation. We had no inflation. We had nothing. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world.
I'm going to shut off that notification sound really quick, too. Give me a second.
Their radical socialist lunacy turned it into a failing economy with the worst inflation in probably 70 years. You know, they say 47. I don't believe 47. I think it's much
Just
more.
Just 1 second.
I handed her the strongest border in U.S. history. She turned it into the worst border invasion in the history of the world. By the way, the chart, the border chart, I love that chart. I love that chart. I'm here because of that chart.
Let me bring it back up.
I go, let me see that chart.
There we go.
If I don't turn, I won't be with you tonight. I won't be with you. I love that chart. You know the amazing thing? I'm going to sleep with that chart tonight. No, you know the amazing thing is that chart, I use it probably 20% of the time, not that much. It's always on my left, not on my right. I mean, pretty much always. There are no people. We had a tremendous crowd, but all of the people, as far as the eye could see, they were here, and some in the back. And how great were the people in the back? But all the people were the same. Nobody fled. You know, when a crowd hears a bullet, they always run. they heard lots of bullets because there were lots of bullets going off. And our Secret Service shooter, our Secret Service sniper, whatever you want to call him, water shot, he used one bullet from much further away because the sniper was there and he was way over here. And he wasn't warned that this could happen. I mean, that was the breakdown they had. They weren't warned. But he heard bullets. He immediately looked over, took aim, and shot. One bullet. Can you imagine that? From probably 400 yards, pretty far. But if it wasn't for that sign, in this case, it came down to the right. It's never on the right, never. And it's never at the beginning of the speech. And I do, I don't use the teleprompter a lot because I think it gets bad, but I just said, let's take a look at the immigration numbers that we had, because they're great numbers. They're the best numbers in the history of our country. The Border Patrol did that chart. Thank you very much, Border Patrol, I appreciate it. But the Border Patrol did that chart. And you see the arrow on the bottom, the red arrow on the bottom. That's the lowest point. That was the week I left office. Look what happened after I left office. Look at that. And it's much worse now because that's a few months now. The numbers are much worse. They've let an invasion of our country happen. But I took a look. And because I took that look, I mean, what are the chances of that? So I just want to thank everybody, because I'll tell you what, the level of love and
he got lucky, that's for sure. But yeah, G. Miller, let me know what you're talking about.
Compassion and all of the things that we all went through. That was a terrible thing. And we're going to be very careful. We have to be very careful. This is, by the way, being president is a dangerous profession. This is a very dangerous, this is not the safest profession out there. But it was an amazing event. And for those of you that don't believe in God, I believe that there's only one reason that could have happened, because the chances were so small. Right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we're going back to Butler. You know that, right? We're going back to Butler. We got to go back. We got to go back to Butler. They were great. And the hospital was incredible. The doctors were incredible that worked on our two friends that were so badly hurt. The doctors were everything about it. And we're going to go back just before the election sometime in October.
Trump, for sure. He talks a lot about how others do things to him. Yeah, he definitely does. He talks about his court cases and different things that the Democrats are doing to his candidate base. I think that's pretty much what he's running off of him. His pretty much steering towards like fear mongering to get people to want to vote for him.
October, it's already being worked on, and I'll probably start off by saying, as I was saying. So you stand up. As I was saying, I gave Kamala and Crooked Joe a world at peace, and their weakness and incompetence quickly brought us to the brink of a global war. America cannot survive for 4 more years of this bumbling communist lunatic. Look, we cannot let her win this election. It's not a question of me. We can't let her win this election. If she wins this election, we're not going to have a country anymore. Starting on day one, we will bring competence and common sense back to the Oval Office. We're really a party of common sense, if you think. We're conservative and all that, but we're really a party of common sense. And by the way, we have a great libertarian with us tonight. Where is our libertarian friend? And I think he's going to be with us. Where is he? What a nice guy. Stand up, please. Stand
RFK
up.
there.
What a nice guy.
What if RFK just showed
What
up?
a nice guy. A lot of us are libertarian. And I think he's going to be giving you a very nice surprise very soon. But he's a great, wonderful person. And
Who
we
is
just met, and we knew each other a little bit from before. Thank you very much for being here. How do you like the audience? Not bad. Do you think the libertarians get this kind of an audience? I don't think so. But thank you. Great honor to know you. Thank you very much. But we'll bring back safety, security, and the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. if you want a preview of what a catastrophe another term of Kamala will be, and she was there, she was working with him. She was the border czar. Now she doesn't say she's the border czar. She said, I was never the border czar. I mean, everything they did, she's taking away now, but she was the border czar. She was the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border like this that allows millions and millions of people in a month from mental institutions and prisons, let them come into our country. Just look at who she chose for her vice president. She went with the hand-picked candidate of crazy Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders wanted him so badly, and the Democratic Socialists of America immediately gave him the endorsement. Forget him. That's her thinking. That's where she's going to go. You know, a politician, when they came out, if Steve Daines came out and said 20 years ago when he started, I wanted to fund the police. I don't think he's saying that. I wanted to fund the police, everybody. Then he said, well, I was only kidding. I don't. The truth is, when you come out with a statement like that, that's where you are. And she wants to defund the police, and she wants to have all of your guns taken away. She wants your guns taken away.
It sounds like he's saying fund the police, but he's actually saying defund the police.
You can count on it. A politician, their first statement, Steve, is always the statement. Now, Steve said, I'm going to protect your Second Amendment. That was a long time ago. He said, I'm going to take care of our police. Right, Steve? I just don't want to leave any question in their mind, Steve. He's so happy I did that little second part. He said, oh, my God, they might think I want to defund. No, Steve is he's not a big defunder. He's an increaser for the police. We want to take care of our police. They're doing a great job, right? As Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz let rioters and looters burn down Minneapolis. Remember CNN? They're right back there. Watch. Oh, there goes their light. Their light just went off. While the governor's wife opened the windows to the mansion to enjoy the smell of the fire. She said, the smell is so beautiful, I love it. I wonder where she's coming from. Walz said that socialism is just another word for neighborliness. She wants to be, he calls them neighbors, good neighbors. He signed a bill to give illegal aliens free health care. He abolished Columbus Day. He ordered tampons to be put into boys' bathrooms.
That's where you get me. Count me out on that one.
Do we have any children here? Please close your ears.
Weird.
He ordered tampons in boys' bathrooms, okay? He signed a law letting the state kidnap children to change their gender so that they go home. But I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about her. This is her ideology. That's why she picked him. And he signed a bill allowing pedophiles to claim human rights protections under the state law. And then he said,
this speech, he thanks God for what happened with the assassination attempt. So let me get this straight. God saved you and had another unalived. Why didn't he just stop the bullet or the shooter?
By the way, J.D. Vance is doing a phenomenal job.
I don't mess with religious debates.
But then he said,
I'm not really that religious myself.
Think of that. Think of the things I just said. Then he said, you know, I think J.D. Vance is weird. You know, it's a word that they use. I think he calls me that too. No, we're not. We're very solid people. We want to have strong borders. We want to have good elections. We want to have low interest rates. We want to be able to buy a house. We want great education. We want strong...
If I'm being honest, like if I was Trump, he's probably going to say something like, because he's on this great mission to save America, that God did not allow him to die. But of course he had martyrs around him, you know, that kind of thing.
Borders. I think we're I think we're the opposite of weird. They're weird. You know what they do? They work with the press on coming up with a soundbite, just a soundbite. And every station that night, all the networks, CBS, and ABC, NBC, they all said, oh, they were called weird. It's unbelievable. You know, it's not a word that's really used too much in politics, but it's a terrible thing that they can do this. It's just a soundbite. No, J.D. Vance is a great patriot, and he's a United States Marine, and he's a real Marine, and he's a brilliant guy. And he went to Ohio State. He graduated in 2 years at the top of his class, just about at the top of his class. And he then got into Yale. And he became a Marine. He got into Yale. And he did great at Yale. And he met his wife, who was actually, I think, the #1 student at Yale. They have a smart family. And we picked somebody that was very special. And he's really stepped up. I said, you got your sea legs, you know, because the first day they were hitting him with a lot of nonsense. And he's got his sea legs now. He's going to be great. I think don't we like him? And he's for the working man and woman.
It's kind of expected that they would attack him as soon as he comes out.
Tim Walz is the man who's very freakish. He's very freakish.
They do the same thing with Tim Walz.
If Comrade Walz and Comrade Harris win this November, the people cheering will be the pink-haired Marxists, the looters, the perverts, the flag burners, Hamas supporters, drug dealers, gun grabbers, and human traffickers. But with a Trump fans' victory, the cheers will come from the police officers, the firefighters, the Border Patrol agents, the steel workers, small business owners, parents, and hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And that's what we're doing. We're getting...
He should have picked Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's a loyal and tested battle axe. I don't know if I actually know her.
Numbers.
Let me Google her real quick.
Record numbers in the Hispanic community, record numbers in so many different communities. Nobody's ever actually seen. You know, this is the greatest movement in the history of our country. You do know that. Remember they used to say, no, MAGA's a good solid 35% of the party. No, it's 95% of the party, not 35. They used to say that. You know, they're very cunning people. MAGA's 35, and so it's 35.
Oh, okay, so she's the governor of Arkansas. I've seen her face before, but I don't know a lot about her. She was the longest-serving press secretary. That's probably where I know her from. Current governor of Arkansas. That's what I just said. And she gave a great speech at the RNC. I didn't catch her at the RNC. I did watch a lot of it, but there were so many breaks during the RNC and musical guests that I tuned out a lot. But I did watch a little bit of it.
Really? No. It's 95% of the party, and I think it's probably 90%. I think the whole country. Who can want, think of it, who wants open borders? Who wants men playing in women's sports?
Boo.
And I'd like to congratulate the young woman who transitioned from a man into a boxer. You saw she won the gold medal.
Did we ever figure out if that was actually true or not? Because I saw it came out that this person in the Olympics boxing was a man, and then people were saying that it wasn't a man, but then I saw something weird about how she produces more testosterone and had different chromosomes than being a female. Like, none of it makes sense. I don't know. None of this makes sense anymore.
How about the young beautiful Italian boxer? She got in there and she didn't know what was going on, and she was a very good boxer, you know, against other women. She didn't count on this. And he's up here, boom, one little jab. Whoa. She goes, nobody ever hit me that way. Then he goes, boom. And she said, okay, I had enough. It's crazy what they're doing. And this person won the gold medal. Did they win the gold medal today? What do you think of that, Tim? I don't think Tim...
She shut down her opponent in 45 seconds. She literally just quit. She's like, nope. Not doing this anymore.
I don't think Tim likes it.
It's insane.
Greg, no good, right? Now, how crazy is it? How crazy is it? For 4 more years, and she wants it. She wants men to play in women's sports. She wants to take away your guns. All of the stuff. And now she's going to deny it. Watch. She'll come out with a statement. She'll deny it. And remember one thing. I'm going to say it again later because it's so important. No tax on tips. Do we like that?
Yeah, I like it.
And they're just the opposite.
Hey, thanks for the sub, Timothy.
People crazy.
I appreciate it.
And our senior citizens, we're not going to have them pay tax any longer on Social Security. Okay? Those two things. 4 more years of crazy Kamala Harris means 50 million illegal aliens pouring into our country over another 4 years. 50 million could be 50 million more. They're overrunning our country. They're destroying our country. They're ruining our country, and they're making our country very unsafe. These are very tough people. These are criminals coming out of jails. These are people that are tough. The only good thing about them is they make our criminals look like weak sisters. That's it. These are really tough, nasty people. And we can't have it. You know, we all have a heart, but we can't have it. It means double-digit inflation decimating your savings. And your savings are being decimated. I know what you're going through. It means violent crime ripping through the suburbs. You know, they talk about women. I think suburban women like me a lot. You know, it's fake stuff. Why wouldn't they?
Thanks for the like, too.
You know, I put something in when I was president. There will be no low-income housing developments built in areas that are right next to your house. You have a house in the suburbs. You're so proud. And then they want to build a low-income job with a 30-story building next to your house. And your house is worthless. And I stopped it. And then they say, well, I don't think suburban women like them. I think they like me. I'm going to keep criminals out of your neighborhood. That's really all that matters. I think they like me anyway. You're not going to have migrant criminals preying on our women and our girls while guns are confiscated from the law-abiding citizens. They want to take away your guns, and then they want to have our country overrun with some of the worst criminals there are anywhere in the world. And they come from all over the world. They come from Africa. They come from Asia. They come from the Middle East. They come from all over. A large boatload came recently from the Congo. Where do you come from? Where in the Congo? Prison. What did you do wrong? We do not want to say. Murder. It was murder. And they're dumping them into our country. You know the money they're saving, these other countries? Their prison population is way down. The money they're saving is, they've never had it so good. And if I were running any of those countries, if I were running Colombia, if I were running Brazil, I'd be doing the same thing, but I'd be doing it faster than they're doing it. Why wouldn't you do it? It's common sense. Dump all of your criminals. Why wouldn't you do it? You know, in Venezuela, crime is down 72%. You know why? Because he took all of the criminals out of Caracas and out of all the cities. He took all of them out and dumped them into the United States. He emptied his prisons into the United States of America. Why are we taking this? Why do we take this? Why? So don't take my word for it. Listen. Kamala Harris's agenda straight from her own mouth. Would anybody like to see her? Let's do it for a couple of seconds. Go ahead.
Thanks for the like again.
Yeah, I am radical. We need to get radical about
What's he pulling up now?
And take it seriously.
As President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal.
Are they not going to show what they're watching?
No question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
These cameramen are terrible.
I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance.
Let's eliminate all of that.
But would you support changing the dietary guidelines?
Yes.
You know, the food pyramid. When people
Yes.
to reduce red meat specifically.
Yes, I would.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Where she raise her hand?
Defund the police.
This whole movement is about rightly saying we need to take a look at these budgets.
Harris asserted that ICE is perceived as the modern-day Ku Klux Klan.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
That puts ICE in the same category as the KKK. Is that what you're asking me? I see no parallel.
I'm not finished.
I see none.
I hate when she says
I am
that.
radical. We need to get radical about what we are doing.
Every time she's about to say something stupid, she says, I'm not finished.
That's just a small part of it. That's just a small part. That's what we have, though. That's where they're going. We're going. Remember I said we will not become a socialist country? And I meant it, except I was wrong. We didn't become a socialist. We're going beyond socialism. We're becoming, if they get in, a communist, full-blown communist country. This is America. We're not a communist country. We're not going to let that happen. And Kamala is not just, she's not just dangerously extreme, and she is extreme, much more so.
So if you are low-income housing, you are a criminal or immigrant? I don't know where you got that. You elaborate that a little bit more.
Than Biden, because Biden didn't know he was alive, let's face it, okay? Are you a socialist? What does that mean? What does it mean? Are you a communist, Joe? I don't know. So he was sort of dangerous because the people around the Resolute desk ran the country. Don't forget, he went after me. He weaponized government to go after me. I don't believe it was him. I believe it was the People's Circle. I could name every one of them. They're bad people. And we won our big case in Florida. Great, brilliant judge that was so smart and strong. And she didn't listen to the nonsense. And, you know, they play the ref with judges. They criticize them all the time, scream at them, treat them horribly. Justices, the justices of the Supreme Court, all judges. And they think they're playing the ref like the great Bobby Knight, right? Play the ref. Now, they're not putting up with it anymore. What they are doing is, in my opinion, totally illegal. Kamala is grossly incompetent and, in my opinion, has a very low IQ. But we'll find out about her IQ during the day.
All lower income people are a criminal element, low income housing. Well, I wouldn't say all of them. I mean, yeah, I would just leave it at that. I wouldn't say all of them. Probably not even a lot of them. It depends on location and a lot of different factors.
Debate. Okay, let's find out about her IQ. So, you know, we have this great system. I want to show you just one other thing, please. Do you mind putting it up, please? Thank you.
Who said it?
Been to the
Did Kamala say that?
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making. Talking about the significance of the passage of time.
The passage of time.
The significance of the passage of time.
I love that.
So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Ukraine is a country in Europe.
This one.
It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily...
Guys, I can't do 4 years of that. I really can't. I try to like her. I really do. I really try to be fair, but I cannot do 4 years of that.
Necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud.
She's talking about the cloud. It's up here in the cloud. It's not physical. She has no idea what she's talking about. I can't handle such dishonesty of someone that has no idea what cloud computing is.
That exist above us, right? The Caribbean nations, island nations. In the Western Hemisphere, that is where the Caribbean is. We are also in the Western Hemisphere. They are our neighbors. I am here, standing here on the northern flank, on the eastern flank, talking about what we have in terms of the eastern flank. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
We can't be unburdened by what has been.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
Bumpy says, who is more in touch with the culture of Black America, Kamala Harris or Drake? Well, I'm not black, so I don't really get a call that, but I don't know, I guess Drake. Are black people actually resonating with Kamala Harris? Or are they resonating with not liking Trump? You know, I don't know. These are questions that I wouldn't know. You'd have to ask the black culture. I don't really make decisions on that one. Jim Crump says he's right. She's an idiot. And Phil says, actually, Trump is the convicted felon, which I think both of those statements are actually true. So
Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down.
We will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work.
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should. Yes. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. It's really difficult to drink out of a paper straw when you if you don't gulp it down immediately, it starts to bend. Yes. And then, you know, the little thing catches it, and then, you know, so we got to kind of perfect that one a little bit more.
I think everyone hates not having plastic straws. When they give you those little paper straws, everybody hates that.
Do you know, okay, a bit of a history lesson. Do you know that the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022? So the United States
shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. AI is kind of a fancy thing. It's, first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. As a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a
Trashy.
Turn that off.
So to be fair, obviously that's a montage of her most idiotic statements. If they did the same thing with Trump, he's going to have a montage of equally as idiotic statements.
So if you listen to Kamala's speeches, you'd never even know that she's been running.
These people are the worst candidates I've ever heard of in my life. See, Phil, you get it. I agree with you 100%. We could make a total reel of just stupid things that both of these candidates have said. And you can throw Biden in there too. He said a bunch of dumb shit as well. Bumpy says, saying Trump is a convicted felon displays a profound misunderstanding of American culture. Who Shot Billy the Kid, John Dillinger, Bonnie and Clyde, Who Got Al Capone, America Loves Criminals. That's fair. That is fair. America does love criminals. I'll give you that. I don't disagree.
The country, she's been running the country for 4 years and doing a horrible job. Look at what's happened to our country. We are a failing nation. I hate to say it, we are a failing nation. I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish I didn't have to go and do this. I wish they were great. I wish they'd make our country great, but they're going to destroy our country. You know it, they even know it, and probably they're doing it on purpose. It's hard to believe, but they're probably doing it on purpose. Kamala is working full-time to erase her record of open borders, transgender anything, high energy costs, taxes, interest rates, which are at sky levels, rising crime rates, and wars all over the world. We're in wars all over the world. You know, when I left, we had nothing.
I like how he glosses over the fact they had to get an indictment to charge him, and he was found guilty and convicted by a jury. But yeah, let's blame political parties. Every time Trump speaks, it's like a free campaign ad for Harris.
No wars. The world respected your country. We had no wars.
Biden gets the cookie and the milk.
Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister, the boss of Hungary, and knows everything very well. They asked him, what's wrong? The world is breaking out in wars all over. He said, there's one thing wrong. The United States needs Donald Trump back as president. And if you have that, you're not going, which is true. You won't have any of these problems. You won't have any of these problems. Russia would have never, ever attacked Ukraine. Israel would never have been attacked on October 7th, and you wouldn't have inflation, and you wouldn't have had the horrible Afghanistan embarrassment, the most embarrassing day, I think, in the history of our country. On Election Day, we're going to tell this radical left country buster, she's a country buster, that we've had enough. We can't take it anymore. We're going to say, Kamala Harris, you're fired. You've done a horrible job. You're fired. Get out of here. Get out. Get the hell out of here, Kamala. Right? If Kamala...
It's like your drunk uncle who watches the news but doesn't really understand the news. Explain it to you.
Wins, foreign leaders will treat America's president as a joke. They already do. Now we have 2 jokes. Think of it. What's going to happen? Russia gets a little nasty. China, President Xi, I know him very well, got along with him very well until COVID, in which case I said, that's the end of that. But President Xi, these are fierce people. These are fierce people. They don't even know who the head of our country is. Who do we have? Are we dealing with Biden? Biden probably should get out, but Xi should get out also. I think they should both get out.
Biden's already getting out.
Do we have a volunteer? Yes, I will volunteer, okay? We have to straighten out. We have to straighten out our country. They're not going to do it. They will rip us off more than ever before. These foreign countries are ripping us off at levels that you've never seen before, and we had them held back. Russia respected us. China respected us. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. No other president took in not 10 cents. For years, they ripped us off. And our country will never be given a chance for a future. We're never going to have a future back. If we don't solve this problem now, we can't go like this any longer. We're not going to have a country any longer.
I'm not sure why he's still ripping on Biden so much. I mean, Biden's out. Biden is riding out this last 5 months. He's done already. He's probably not going to accomplish anything the rest of his term besides set Harris up for a good campaign. He's out. He's done.
When America will be respected again, because you will once again have a president who puts America first, and you have a president who will fight, fight, fight.
Thanks for the like, whoever that was.
Thank you. Thank you. For 4 incredible years under our administration, I stood up for America, and we achieved more than any administration in the history of our country. There's never been a period of time like we had for 4 years. There's never been. And then we had COVID, and we got rid of it. We never got, I got great credit for the economy, great credit for the military. We defeated ISIS rapidly. I started no wars. First time in 78 years I started we didn't have any wars, these endless wars. They keep going and going, people getting killed all over the place, spending billions and billions. We passed the largest tax.
Can't believe people are cheering that string of rambling nonsense. Yeah, he's got a big fan base.
Cuts and regulation cuts in the history of our country. We achieved record low unemployment rates, record low poverty rates, and rising wages for everybody. Everybody in this room. Your wages increased, your money increased, your businesses increased. Whatever you do, everything was better for 4 years. We unlocked American energy independence, and soon would have been energy dominant. We were going to be energy dominant. We took on the globalists and corrupt special interests. We ended the NAFTA disaster, concealed. And think of that. We got out of TPP. Do you know what TPP? That's if you want to have manufacturing in this country, they were going to take it all away. Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, we took it away. We withdrew from the horrible Paris Climate Accord. It sounds so nice. I want the Montana Climate Accord, not the Paris Climate Accord.
I just want to buy a house, man.
And stood up to China like never before, bringing in tens of billions of dollars. Think of it, though. No other president ever brought up, they never confronted China. And China respected us. We built 571 miles of border wall. And we took it out, we took it out of our military because Congress was impossible. So I said, we're taking it out of our military because it's an invasion of our country. That worked. They sued me all over the place. We won. We ended catch and release. We stopped asylum fraud. We brought illegal immigration to the lowest level ever recorded. That's per your chart. We fully rebuilt the U.S.
Mark, didn't you guys prop up a corpse for months on end? Now you have a candidate that couldn't win her own state in the primaries last time. That's true. The Democrats trying to prop up Biden was a little sick. That's just me being fair. Like, clearly he's not in good health. And they tried to deny it and keep him running to keep their position of power. That is gross. They should have had a different candidate all along. Trump is gay and he likes to suck cocks. Okay, I'll note that. So his supporters ever check to see if what he's saying is true. The U.S. drills and produces more oil now than ever in U.S. history.
Military and created a thing called Space Force, which is so important. And now we are leading in space. Nobody thought that was possible. And for our great veterans, of which you have a lot in your great state, we passed VA accountability and VA choice, right? They've been trying to get them for 50 years. Accountability is you get rid of the sadists and the bad people that took advantage and harmed our heroes, our great people. They beat them up. They were sadists. They were thieves. There were a lot of bad things. We had no right.
See, I don't like that angle, Mark, when people try to say Trump is obviously mentally not well. That's obviously not true. You can disagree with him. You can not like him. You could hate his policies. You can think his policies are stupid. But to say he's not mentally well compared to what Biden just showed us is not the same. It's not even in the same category. Mark, which politicians don't lie? Joe Biden said he graduated at the top of his class. Yeah, he lied about that. No big deal, though. Don't care about it. Biden's gone. Biden is out. Nobody cares about Biden. Biden is phoning in his last 5 months, and then he's out of here. He's not even on this debate stage.
Under civil service and other things to fire them. If we caught them stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars, you couldn't do anything about it. I got a law passed in Congress. We got rid of 9,000 bad people and hired people that love our veterans. And then on choice, so we have some great doctors in the VA, but you couldn't get to them. It would take sometimes months. People would be a little bit ill, and they'd end up becoming terminally ill because you couldn't get to the doctors. If you had to wait more than one day for a doctor, I allowed you to go out, get a local doctor, get yourself taken care of, and we pay for the bill.
But under Trump, they did do that. Community care was a great thing for veterans. All for it. Thought it was awesome. On the flip side of that, Biden had the PACT Act, which every time I bring up the PACT Act, people kind of shit on it and think like it wasn't a good thing. And it absolutely was a good thing. Both of them help veterans. Community care probably maybe a little bit more helping veterans, but PACT Act was still a good thing for veterans.
And Steve Daines helped.
Biden appears to be in cognitive decline. Trump is a self-serving narcissist. See, there we go. That makes more sense than try to say Trump is on a mental decline. I think, yeah, he probably is a narcissist. I'll give you that. He wants to cut the VA budget. I don't know about that.
A lot on that, actually, Steve. That was a great thing. And we had a 92% approval rating at the VA, the Veterans Administration, 92%. That was the highest rating ever. Now it's down into the 40s, We obliterated ISIS, and unlike Harris, we stood up and we took care of our friend.
Thanks for the sub,
Israel.
John.
We have a problem over there, big problem. We have a lot of people that are looking to destroy Israel. Look, the bottom line, we got to get peace over in the Middle East. The Middle East is blowing up largely because our country doesn't know what's happening. They have no idea what's happening. We are going to take care of it. We did the Abraham Accords. It brought peace to the Middle East. We would have had every country signed up right now. If the election weren't rigged, we would have had every single country signed up right now. And I'm proud to be the first president in decades who really, and I talk about it as much as I can because Hillary Clinton stood on the stage. They said, look at him. He's going to start wars. And I said, no. I'm going to stop the wars. You're the one that started the wars. You people, the stupid people, started the war. But I did finish the war on ISIS. And everybody said we couldn't beat ISIS, too malleable, too all over the place. Did it in 4 weeks. We knocked it out. And that's where I learned we have a great military. We don't have a woke military. We have some stupid people on the top that are woke. We have a great military. What they did for me against ISIS was incredible. 4 years ago, America's future was blazing bright, and Kamala and Crooked Joe came in and drove our country off the cliff. They've taken our country to levels. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughing at America. They're laughing at your United States. But with your vote, the rain.
He's still lying about rigged elections. And Blumpy says Trump should run on no new wars in 4 years. Yeah, that would be a good campaign for him. I don't know what he really means by our military is woke. I don't get it when he says that.
Will be over. That horrible reign of, it's in a way it's a reign of terror. You know, it's a weak reign. It's an incompetent reign. But they want to put good people in jail that shouldn't be in jail. It's a very dangerous reign, actually, and people aren't going to take it. It's a very dangerous reign led by very incompetent people. New era of strength and prosperity and freedom will soon ring true. The moment I take the oath of office, we will seal the border, stop the invasion, and send the illegal aliens back home where they belong.
He said, get out.
Right?
Go on, get out.
Under the so-called border czar Harris, illegal aliens are stampeding into America by the millions and millions. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from all over the place. They're coming from countries we've never even heard of. Most of the people...
Trump said months in advance he knew the election would be rigged if he lost. Still, he couldn't provide a shred of evidence in court that it happened. Doesn't that make him incompetent? Well, it could make him a lot of things. It could make him a liar, maybe. Maybe not incompetent.
This room have never heard. They're coming from some very bad places, evil places. Every day, Kamala is letting migrant criminals roam free to assault, rape, mutilate, and kill our citizens. Look at what's happening to our cities. Our cities are being overrun, and they're being taken care of, and our veterans are not being taken. Our veterans are forced to sleep on the street, and these people are given hotel rooms in luxury hotels.
Boo.
Right here in Bozeman, an illegal alien brutally stabbed to death a 19-year-old young man. You know all about it. And when the police searched the illegal's car, they found 3 handguns, 2 rifles, a shotgun, and a record as long as your arm. On July 4th, a 42-year-old Nashville man died after he tried to stop an illegal alien from stealing tools out of his truck. The illegal alien did a number on this man that nobody could even believe. The police officer said one of the most vicious crimes they've ever seen. He was thrown from the hood of the illegal's pickup truck and left to die in the street after.
Why? Because then he can be elected and come in and save the day. And then he looks good.
Being beat to hell. And last month, a Venezuelan illegal alien criminal let in by our so-called border czar, the border czar's a joke. She never went to the border. She never went to the border. Shot a female police officer in Texas multiple times with a rifle and started shooting over and over again. The choice in this election is between a mass amnesty with welfare, Social Security, and voting rights for the illegal. And they want to give illegal.
Obama administration had a ton of drone strikes. Trump administration exceeded the Obama strikes. Prove that. I haven't heard that before. Last I knew, it was Obama had the highest record of drone strikes and a lot of casualties from those two as well. Meanwhile, Biden was solely elected due to media interference with discourse cover-up. The Biden laptop false. Intelligence officers claiming, yeah, there's a bunch of crazy shit going on with that too. I'll give you that. Exactly. Shows that he doesn't give a shit about the border. I think it was you that said he is a narcissist, which I would totally agree. He definitely is a narcissist. Does anyone think that Trump is selfish? Yes, he's probably selfish.
Illegal immigrants, all of this, and here's all we're going to do. It's going to be called a Trump mass deportation because we have no choice.
Do we really think that anybody that wants to run as president isn't selfish, though? Or at least kind of a narcissist? Come on, anyone that actually steps up and says, I'm the guy, I'm going to lead America, you have to be a little bit selfish and a narcissist. Trump is the most selfish person I've seen in my life so far. He's pretty selfish. I'll give that to you for sure.
We have no choice.
There goes the felon vote.
If Harris wins, a never-ending stream of illegal alien rapists, MS-13 animals, and child predators will ravage your communities. They're already ravaging your community. Don't forget, they haven't been here that long. They're getting...
What's up, Chad? Hey, good morning. Are we at the talk shit stage of the election? Neither party talks about policy, only shit talk. We are there. We have hit peak shit talking stage, from stolen valor to Trump being a narcissist, whatever you want. Trump also took a bullet, raised his fist, and continues to campaign. Yeah, that was absolutely badass. And I think that alone is probably going to win him a lot of votes.
Used to it. When they get used to it, they're going to be coming at you at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime, and it's going to be as vicious.
Chad, when he's still rambling on about the border and how all the illegal aliens are going to come here and kill us all, All leaders have their own ideas and a way of going about it. Trump's particular method is dangerous and expensive. He's blown more money than Biden, and look what Biden has done with the jobs and rebuilding the economy with less money.
As any crime ever seen in this country before, and it's a guarantee. In addition, we have hundreds and hundreds of terrorists in our country that have been allowed in. We didn't allow them in. We had a strong border. We had 1 year where Border Patrol actually said under Trump in 2019, 1 year, one of our 4 years, 0 terrorists. Now, I don't really believe that because I don't believe that's possible. But they have it down as a 0. 0 terrorists were able to get into our country. Now we have hundreds and hundreds of people coming in, thousands of people coming in, and these are the world's worst terrorists. And it's 100% certain that really bad things are going to happen. So we don't have a choice. Vote Republican, and we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. And I don't say that with fondness. I don't even know. I don't say that I don't even know if that's good politics or bad politics. People would say, oh, Trump is too tough. We don't like him. We don't like him. He's taking murderers out of our country, but we don't like him. He shouldn't be taking murderers out of our country. The truth is, Dwight Eisenhower, he was a sort of a moderate type of guy, General Eisenhower. He was president. Do you know when he was president, he was the strongest president in history outside of...
Trump is fear-mongering and only tyrant-minded and authoritarian-minded. Love these methods and tactics as predicted. I mean, when you look at the UK right now, it makes sense that Americans would be fearful. Trump assumes that America has never had crime and terrorists. He's creating a false boogeyman. You have to question his assumption, which no one does. He's no authority on what's great for America. He's just pushing his selfish ideas for his interests. And like I said, when you look at the UK right now and all the crazy riots that are going on there and the censorship, he is appealing to people who are going to be scared that that is coming for America.
What we did, the strongest in history on the border. He hated when people came into our country illegally. And we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in through a process. They have to come in legally. We want people. Harris has let them all in, and we will send them all back. We have to send them back to their countries. Their country, when I came in, we had a lot of MS-13 gang members. They're probably the toughest gang in the world, really ruthless people. And I came in, I said, we got to get them out. I told one of the generals, sir, they won't let us have them in. Under President Obama, the countries where they came from, Honduras and Guatemala and all over the place they come, from South America in this case, the countries said, we're not letting them back in. And they would put major aircraft, big airplane, on the runway. So if we were coming in with a plane, you couldn't land, they'd come back. They blocked up the road, so if we bust them in, if we took them in by ship, any way we took them in, they wouldn't let them back. So the general told me that, sir, I'm sorry, we can't get them back. They'll never take them back. They don't want them back. MS-13 gang members. Who can blame them, right? So I said, how much money do we pay?
Bumpy, do you live in Canada?
Pay them. He goes, sir, we pay them $750 million a year. Sir? I said, all right, inform the countries that they're delinquent. They're not taking their criminals back. They're sending criminals in. They send them in the caravans. They put some really bad types in the caravans, and they pour in by the thousands, that we're not paying them anymore. We're ending it on day one. I signed a document. The next day, I come into the beautiful Oval Office, so beautiful, resolute desk. I sit down. Sir, we have a call from Guatemala. Sir, we have a call from Mexico.
So as an American, I just kind of read things that's going on with Canada. Why is your leadership acting like this? It doesn't make sense to me.
We have a call we have all these calls, and they call and they wanted to know, sir, we understand there's a misunderstanding.
Why are they not stopping people, like you're saying, going to the beach and doing all of this? Where's the local government to actually shut all these tents down?
I said, no, there's no misunderstanding. You're sending your criminals into our country and you're not taking them back. And I'm not paying you any more. You're not getting any more subsidy from the United States of America. And they all said the same thing. The calls came in Early in the morning, they all said the same thing. Sir, there must be a misunderstanding. There's a misunderstanding, sir. We would love to have MS-13 back in our country. We love them very much, sir. They're wonderful people. And we took tens of thousands. We took thousands and thousands out. You know, believe it or not, there were a lot on Long Island. You read the story where they killed two beautiful 16-year-old girls walking to school, and they killed...
Local governments are taking in mass immigration for pay. They receive funds from the feds to house them. Okay, so they're making profit off of immigration, essentially.
With a knife, they sliced them up into little pieces. You know why? Because that's much more painful than getting shot. And they wanted to, what they did, they were animals. And you know who took care of it? ICE. And all of these people like Kamala, they want to abandon ICE. They want to drop ICE. These guys are so incredible. They're brave. You know, I know some of the people in the front row, and they're really tough guys, and they're brave guys, and I know them pretty well. They don't want to work for ICE. ICE would get in, they'd get up to the gangs in Ohio, and a lot of them in New York, and amazing, as I said, in Long Island, and they'd walk into a gang of 15 of the toughest guys you've ever seen, and you'd see fists and feet and back and forth, and it would go on for 3-4 minutes, and then the ICE guys would get up and they'd take these guys into...
Voting is going to feel really good. I need to register to vote. So if anyone else is lazy like me and hasn't registered to vote yet, we definitely need to go do that. So just a reminder there, register to vote.
A paddy wagon, put them in, and would bring them back to their country. And then she wants to get rid of ICE. These are incredible patriots. They're tough people, and they love our country as much as anybody, and maybe more than most. One of the most sinister accomplices in Kamala's plot to demolish American borders has been...
Yeah, I know it's not hard. I just need to do it. It's just I procrastinate a lot. Niagara Falls has been an interesting example as the deal benefits the hotels. It fills rooms year-round, whereas their seasonal markets make sense entirely. The issue is it creates indirect burden on institutions. Interesting.
And her ally, the partner in the U.S. Senate, one of the biggest phonies in American politics. His name is John Tester. And I don't speak badly about somebody's physical disability, but he's got the biggest stomach I have ever seen, I swear. I swear.
Local shelters have displayed local homeless for... Oh, damn, the comment's gone. Chat moved. Takes no time, use the right to vote because shit ton of people have died for that right. It's hard earned. It's worthy of taking the time, otherwise non-voters don't have an opinion. Yeah, I definitely want to vote this year. I just got to go and take my happy ass down and get registered to vote.
That's the biggest stomach. I have never seen a stomach like that. Because he doesn't look that heavy. You're not allowed to use the word fat. So if you use the word fat...
So Trump, when it comes to immigrations, Trump's plan is to be more critical on the people coming across the border, the people that are actually here. He wants to set up a mass deportation program that is heavily scrutinized of people actually coming here and how long they can actually stay. Obviously, the left is going to look at that like he's kicking minorities out, yada, yada, yada. I have a good friend whose Facebook feed is nothing but anti-Trump. I laugh because we are in Utah and it's always a red state. Well, he's an individual. I guess good for him for trying to think for himself.
You can say obese, you can say anything, but you can't say fat. That's the end of your political career. I said it the other night. Somebody in the audience said, Chris Christie is a fat pig. And I said, sir, Chris Christie is not a fat pig. You should not. And we argued about it for 3 or 4 minutes, and that was it. No, he's not a fat pig. For years, Tester has been telling Montana that he's a moderate while he votes with Biden, Harris, and Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. You remember Pocahontas? Pocahontas, I have more Indian blood in me than she has in her, and I have none. I happen to have none. But Kamala votes with them 100% of the time. Did you know that, Steve? 100% of the time. I promise you, Tim will not.
But I could flip that around on you, Kissing, and say that Harris, most of her campaign is actually complaining about Trump and insulting Trump and insulting Republicans. So it's two ways. It goes back and forth.
Be voting 100%. He may vote with them 0. I would say 0 would be close. But in a 50-50 Senate, Tester could have single-handedly stopped the invasion of our country, but he voted against stopping it. Instead, Tester voted for mass amnesty. He voted against the border wall, totally voted against the wall. Who the hell would vote against the wall? He voted against remain in Mexico. Remember, I had the policy, the greatest policy of all. You couldn't come into our country, you had to remain. They had hundreds of thousands of people that came up from the South. Hundreds of thousands, they couldn't get into our country. He ended it. And these people came in. You think it was easy to get that deal with Mexico? It was very tough. I had to say, I'm going to put a lot of tariffs on it. They give it to me or not. They were very nice. It was amazing. They wouldn't give it to me. They said, no, sir, we won't do that. I said, all right, I'm going to tariff your cars at 100%. Sir, we'd love to give you that.
Now she wants to change the border? Just now?
We would love a policy of remain in Mexico. We think it's wonderful. You had to see Tijuana. Tijuana was the fastest growing city in the history of the world. They were having hundreds of thousands of people pour into Tijuana, but they couldn't come into our country because I said to Mexico, you can stop them. You can stop them at your southern border, down below. And you know those caravans, I think I came up with that name, but they are a caravan. They're very horrible, very dangerous for women, very dangerous. Women die all the time. They're being raped. They're dying. The whole thing is a horror show. He voted against...
Is he still going on about immigration?
Title 42.
Jesus.
That's a bad one. He voted against increasing funding for ICE. He voted to provide the deciding vote to shield illegal alien criminals like the one who murdered Laken Riley from deportation. He didn't want the person deported. He didn't want any deportation for that person. If you elect John Tester, you are approving the Harris plan to make...
The left in general doesn't care about anything but power. I would say both parties don't really care about anything but power.
The 20 million Biden illegals into voting citizens. She said today she wants to give them the right to vote. Many of these people are killers and criminals. They're not going to have the right to vote, and they're not going to destroy our country. She also voted to give them welfare, government health care, and let them raid Medicare and Social Security until there's nothing left. They will destroy Social Security.
I'm with you, Kissing. I would say definitely be an independent. You're going to pick probably Democrat, Republican if you want to pick a party that's actually going to win, but at least look at the ideas for yourself and decide.
Will save your Social Security with no increase in age or anything else. John Tester cast the decisive vote to approve every single bill that caused record inflation. Remember the Inflation Reduction Act? It was a phony. They used the term Inflation Reduction. It was actually an Inflation Increase Act. It was a disaster, but they lied because that's what they're good at. They're con people. You know what they are? Misinformation, disinformation. After they got the bill passed, which they shouldn't have had, trillions of dollars, inflation went through the roof. He cast a vote to kill the these reporters doing over. You remember that? The Keystone Prize winner. Doug Mills, the great Doug Mills, Pulitzer Prize.
Froze on me.
Even though he works for the New York Times, that's okay. He works for the New York Times, and that's one of the only Pulitzer Prizes that was actually earned. Maggot.
There it goes.
Hagman.
Yeah, their feet cut out.
Maggot Hagman. She's a reporter. She pretends like she knows more about Trump. I have nothing to do. If the woman speaks to...
The left are primarily overall interested in liberties, increased freedoms, which are different than liberties, and left get and missed it. I can predict all your beliefs, and I've never talked with you before. What does it say about your groupthink? Allowing groupthink is the issue? Is that a joke? You read what I typed. I'm clear. Okay.
To me
well,
once in a
let's
year.
not
Today I
fight.
called her. I said, your stories are all fake. Why don't you stop it? But think of it. They have a man here who I really like. He's a great photographer. Doug, it's nice to have you. Make me look nice and thin if you don't mind. He voted for environmental extremist Tracy Stone.
Okay, good. That's good. I don't want any, like, obviously I do a lot of political content, so I get a lot of hate comments, so things get wild very quickly. And I don't want that. I want people to actually discuss things and not, I don't know, just throw curse words or whatever at each other. I'm not for that.
Manning to lead the Bureau of Land Management, and he voted the radical left Interior Secretary, Deb Haaland. You know who that is, don't you? To wage war on your rights and on your industries, and they really did wage war. But we have a man here, and I'm going to introduce some of your people. We have a man here who knows Tester better than I do, better than anybody does.
Yes. Kindness
and Tester
is
and
the
I
answer.
have nothing to do with each other. And when you watch his
Agree to disagree at some points.
commercials, you can forget.
But these political issues get so heated. I see it in my comments all the time. People are so angry.
He never votes for me. He voted to impeach me. That guy voted to impeach me, stomach brimming out like a big slob.
Yeah, easy game. You're true. For me, even just pointing out one thing that Trump might have done good, let's say like community care for veterans, will immediately get somebody from the Democratic Party or the left to call me a Nazi or a white supremacist or whatever. And that's not the way to go about this.
Do you want to? I want to impeach. Why? I don't know. What did he do wrong? I did nothing wrong. But I have to tell you, the Republicans stuck with me, and we won very easily. We beat it. But there's a man named Ronnie Jackson. He comes from Texas, and he heard it was a race against Tester, and he was treated so unfairly. Could I ask Congressman, Admiral, Doctor? He's a doctor. He was my White House doctor. He was Obama's White House doctor and Bush's White House doctor. He was also an admiral. So he was an admiral and a doctor. Then he became the doctor in the White House. And you know when I fell in love with him? They said, who's the healthiest?
Yeah, Chad is right. Trump is a tougher looking president than Kamala.
He took care of Bush, Obama. Did anybody ever hear of Barack Hussein Obama? Yes. Took care of Obama, and he took care of Trump. And they said, who's the healthiest of those presidents? And he said, without question, it's Donald J. Trump. And I said, I love this guy. Ronnie Jackson.
Thank
Who's
you,
this
Mr.
guy?
President. Thank you. Howdy, Montana, from the great state of Texas. All right. Look, I want to tell you a little bit about this man, John Tester. This man who says that he represents Montana in the Senate. This man who
Is this
tells
guy
you
going
that
to come
he's
out
up
here and
there trying to
campaign?
clean this
I don't care about you, bro.
the last serving the career admiral.
Come on, back to Trump.
Respected the Navy.
There
He
we
was
go.
a great White
There's
House
Trump.
doctor. So you have two. You have leadership and you have the doctor. So I figure, what's better for the VA? So I went to Ronnie and I said, Ronnie, what do you think of the possibility of you running the VA? You're a great leader. You're a great admiral, highly respected in the Navy, a war veteran, everything. He had everything you could have. And on top of that, he's a great doctor, a great man, a great personality. Everyone loves him. And, you know, I went to him. I said, what do you think? And he didn't want it. He said, sir, I'd rather not, but he's an incredible patriot. He said, but if you want me to do it, because he was ready to retire and go on to move to Texas and do whatever he was going to do. He said, if you want me to do it, sir, I'll do it. He didn't want to do it. Everybody else would want it, but he really would have preferred not. I said, Ronnie, you know, I did him such a great favor. Ronnie, you'll be great. So I let it out that I'd like to put Ron. I didn't even put it out officially. I let it out to the fake news. I said, I'd like to put Ronnie in as the head of the Veterans Administration. And that's when Tester hit. And it was vicious. It was vicious. It was really. And I didn't even say it. You know, I mean, after it happened, I said, Ronnie, it's really unfair. And, you know, they sent out people, and we did too, to investigate every charge this slob made. And every charge was totally false. And he has an incredible family, an incredible wife. He has a son. I was making the commencement address at Annapolis. His son was one of the best students at Annapolis, right at the top of the class. And I had to look at the son.
I'm also feeling that Trump may have lost interest in the presidency since Biden dropped out. He doesn't seem as passionate for now. Really? You think that? I'm not really catching that vibe. I think he still wants to be president. I think they had a moment where they had to kind of regroup and figure out who they're fighting now and all the corruption that's going on in the Democratic Party and sort through it and figure out a new campaign. Maybe that's a little bit tiring, but I think he still wants to be president.
And I had to say, what they're doing to your father is really unfair. This is one of the finest men you'll ever see. And that John Tester couldn't have cared less. He just wanted publicity for himself, and it's a disgrace. You have to defeat John Tester. I'm telling you, you have to defeat. You have to do it. And when Ronnie heard what I was doing, he said, oh, you're going to Montana. Does that have anything to do with Tester? I said, actually, it does. We're trying. He said, may I go? He was in Texas. So he had to travel longer than I did. But Ronnie Jackson's one of the finest men, and it was a shame, and really a shame. And you ought to get rid of that guy's bad news. Montana, you've got to do it, and you're going to do it. And I want to bring up, if I could, you heard him just for a second, because I want to shake his hand. He's a spectacular person. He was picked by Steve Daines and a group of people. We were looking for perfection because we didn't want any excuses. The fact that he's handsome should have nothing to do with it, but he is a handsome guy. But he's got everything. He's highly successful, great education, Purple Heart recipient, a former Navy SEAL, which, as you know, is a big deal. It's a tough thing to be. A combat veteran at the highest level, a Bronze Star. And he's got his valor. It's a Valor for Heroism Award. You know, the other one talks about valor. He has a different kind of a valor. It's the opposite. But Tim Sheehy is going to be an outstanding senator. He was a great businessman, an aerospace company. He started it in a barn in Montana, right here. Employed a lot of people, turned it into a big success. And I'd like to ask, just to say a few words real quickly, Tim Sheehy, you've got to vote for him. Thank you. Tim, come on.
You're bringing out more people? Come on. Come on, Trump. Yeah, I don't care about local politics. Don't care.
He wants to make America great again. He's going to do it. We're going to do it together. Also with us tonight, and I said it before, he's a special man. Senator Steve Daines, you're lucky to have him. He's an unbelievable, respected by everybody, and it's an honor to have him as a friend. And he wanted to do this race. He said, we have to do this race. We have to take control of the Senate and the House. We're going to do the House. We're going to do the Senate. And this is the answer right here. This is the one seat. We do this seat, we're going to win the Senate. So important. And Tim, you're going to be great. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Steve, you're a fantastic man. Kids, you have a great father. Take good care of your father, okay? I mean that. And I alluded to it before. He's a fantastic guy, a friend of mine. I was one of the earliest to endorse him. Greg Gianforte, your governor. He's been respected by everybody. Greg, please. Please, thank you. A representative who has been absolutely a fantastic guy. He's a tough cookie. He's a great fighter. He has every military record you can have. Ryan Zinke, he's running for Congress again. Good luck, Ryan. You're going to do great. Thank you. I saw some good poll numbers on you today. That's very nice. And Ronnie Jackson, thank you for that speech you made. That was beautiful. And nobody could have done it nobody could do it like you. He knows this guy better than anybody, unfortunately. It was my fault, Ronnie. I shouldn't have done it. I should have said, Ronnie, enjoy your life. I had to say, come on, Ronnie. And then I tell these horrible people back there, it's going to be Ronnie, oh boy. But you know what he did? He came back and he said, I'm going to run for Congress. And he ran and he won. And he won big, big.
Thanks for the sub, whoever that was.
That's pretty good. Think of it. You're a great doctor, become the White House doctor. You're a great admiral, you're doing great. Then you decide, I'm going to run for Congress. So you have Congress, you have doctor, you have admiral. Who the hell has a career like that? That's pretty good. That beats all of us. Tim, that beats all of us, I think. Former acting attorney general and a friend of mine, Matt Whitaker. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. Great job. Your auditor. Oh, that's good because you have a lot of money here. Troy Downing. Thank you very much. Troy, great job. Secretary of State, Christy Jacobson. Christy, thank you. Good job. You have my endorsement. She's got my endorsement. They both do. I'm giving you my endorsement now. This way I don't have to go home and write it out. Is that okay? She has my endorsement, complete and total endorsement. Your great Attorney General, Austin Knudsen. Thank you, Austin. Great, beautiful family. Great family. State Party Chair, Don Karlschmidt. Where's Don? Don, thank you very much. Good job you're doing. They're all doing well, right? They're doing well, Don. You're doing a great job. RNC Chairman Michael Watley, very powerful man. Michael, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Well, he's got one function. We don't need the votes. He's going to stop the steal. He's going to stop the steal. He's going to make sure that those votes are properly counted. You ever hear things like this? You vote two months early and you need more time. We want to go back to one-day voting and paper ballots. Very simple. Very simple. But he did a great job. He was the head of the Republican Party in North Carolina when those other states were being robbed and rigged. That guy held so true, and he's going to do it with. He actually had 603 lawyers working, and other guys just said, "Oh, you can never take it for granted with these people, because they do something very, very well. You know what that is? They cheat. That's what they is." And in the audience is a man that I gave a pardon to, and I'm very proud. Would you stand up, please? Stand up. With you with a beautiful hat on, right there. Yeah, stand up. I was very honored. Handsome guy, too. And people were very happy with that. You were happier than anybody, but it was my honor to do it. Thank you very much. And one of our greatest golfers in the history of, I'm a golfer, I love golf. This guy is a major golfer. He's a major friend of mine. One of the best ever.
All right, he's still
They
announcing
just knew how to
people.
win. He could take people.
Let's see what else.
6 majors and many, many tournaments, and he's one of the greatest ever. So thank you very much. It's an honor as a golfer. I don't know how many.
Announcing people.
We will stop the Biden-Harris
There you go.
war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. Going to bring them way down. That's what caused the inflation. Their stupid energy policies caused the inflation. I will terminate the Green New Scam, deliver historic regulation cuts, and I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate on day one. You want to have a gasoline-propelled car, or if you want a hybrid, or if you want an electric car, it's great. But you can have your choice. Whatever you want, you're going to have your choice. That's the way it should be. We will pass massive tax cuts for workers, and that includes no tax on tips, as I said. We're going to stop outsourcing, demand a level playing field for the American worker, and turn the United States into the manufacturing superpower of the world. We had it going so beautifully, and then these stupid people came along and ended it. We're going to be the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we can do it so easy. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope and safety and beauty, better than they have ever been before, and we will end the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels. We are going to demolish those cartels. We're going to crush gang violence, support our police, and lock up violent offenders behind bars. And we are going to straighten out the crime in our cities. We are going to straighten out the crime in our country. We're going to get it done fast. We will deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. You see what's happening. And before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I will restore peace through strength. That's what I did. We had no wars. Think of it. No wars. No wars during the Trump administration, Steve.
No wars.
In my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country, a dome like has never been seen before, and it will be entirely made in the USA, including Montana.
I think Trump needs to come out and explain what he means when he says the media construes his wording. For example, when the media says he admitted to being a dictator on day one. I think he's probably tried explaining that in the past, but it never goes well because the media had already posted those stories. People have already read it. It's already out there. He's tried to battle it in the past, but then they just kind of come back and try to label him as a liar. And you get to this like he said, she said kind of thing. Never works out well. He's honestly probably better off just saying fake news.
Like Biden, who's destroying Social Security and so many other things, I will not cut 1 cent from Social Security. I will not raise the age, which they want to do. They're destroying Social Security and Medicare by allowing all of these people to come in on the plan. You earned it. You deserve it. We're going to preserve it for you just the way it is. Thank you. And as you know, I kept my promise for 4 years, and I will keep my promise very easily again. And seniors, as I said, will not pay taxes on their Social Security. That's a big deal. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. We're not going to do it. I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. Right? Right? And I will keep men out of women's sports, if that's okay.
If that's okay.
See, Nick, at least in golf, you know, they got a putt, right? Maybe in golf they have a little chance, but not much. No, I don't see it. I know you too well. I don't see them playing against you. But the women golfers are doing very well. But what do you think, Nick? You keep men out of women's sports? You think that's okay? I think so, huh? I think so. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech in our country. And I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and a thing called voter ID. They don't want voter ID.
Voter ID, huh?
Why don't they want voter ID? You know, we start off with voter ID, and they say, we don't want. You know why? Because they want to cheat. There's only one reason you don't want identification. You want to cheat. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020. We will not let them rig the presidential election in 2024. Not going to let them rig it. And we want to do this as a landslide. We're doing great in the polls, and so is Tim. We want to do this as a landslide, and the one way you win, guaranteed, no matter what they do, it's called, we want to win too big to rig. Too big to rig. Too big to rig. Gets too big, and they just say, oh, we can't do it. We can't do it. They got us. Too many votes. We have a lot of votes. So get your friends, get your family, and get out and vote in numbers. And
isn't voter ID just showing your ID? Why are they afraid of that? Well, if you're asking Trump, it's because he's seeing illegal immigrants voting, and that's how the Democrats won the previous election.
America, I tell you what, like numbers that you've never seen before, I think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have the greatest election victory in the history of our country.
I didn't vote last election. Don't you have to show your ID to vote? That makes total sense to me, that you would need to show some kind of ID or prove that you're even part of the county that you're voting in.
To help ensure election integrity.
Isn't that the whole point of voter registration?
Go to protectthevote.com. Protectthevote.com. So in conclusion, from Big Fork to Billings, from Glendive to Great Falls, and from Big Sky to right here in Bozeman, this state was built by some of the toughest men and strongest women ever to walk the face of the earth. Montana is the land of cowboys and cattle hands, ranchers and farmers, frontiersmen and soldiers, adventurers and pioneers who charged into the wilderness, scaled the Rockies, trekked through the ice and snow, and carved out a life in one of the most beautiful places in all of God's creation. It's true. I saw that. So true. It's so...
Okay, so it's not really required. So he's basically saying he's going to make it a firm requirement.
So true. All of that driving today, there's no place more beautiful than this. Together they built this state. They helped make America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in...
I love when Canadians criticize American voter ID laws. You need an ID to vote here and proof of address. They mail you a voter card. Otherwise, you need something like a bill or bank statement. Yeah, I didn't know you didn't really need to show ID in America. That's messed up. So I'm with Trump on that. There should be some kind of fact checking that this person is actually a citizen. Makes sense to me.
Decline. We're a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, lost its willpower, and lost its strength. We are a nation that has quite simply lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. It's going to go quickly.
In Canada, they registered you to vote when you file your taxes. That makes sense. They get their tax money and you get a vote.
With our leadership, every disaster Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have created can be fixed, and it can be fixed quickly. It's going to have to be fixed quickly. We don't have time. Every problem can be solved and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Promise. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream, which you never hear about anymore, will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the worst administration in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. November 5th, Election Day, and that period will be the most important day and period in the history of our country. Our country will be greater than ever before. You have to remember November 5th and mark it down, the most important day in history. Because we are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Montana. Thank you. Vote for Tim. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, so there was Trump giving his speech at his rally. I'm going to switch over and find Harris's rally because I want both sides, right? I'm not just going to watch Trump. I got to be informed, right? I got to have both sides. So let me see if I can find her rally really quick. Let's see, Harris. I don't know where she was at last night. Let's see, speaks at Arizona, I think. Let's find a stream that isn't going to demonetize me, hopefully. Philadelphia, no, she was not there. Let's see. Maybe this one, maybe MSNBC. I don't know if this was her last one in Arizona. Let me look it up really quick. I want to watch an old one. Let's see, Harris. See if she added her events actually to her website finally would be great. Her website kind of sucks compared to Trump's. Whoever's updating Trump's website is usually on his events, but Harris's is not usually that great. All right. 21 hours ago was yeah, so it was Arizona. Kamala's speeches have the same wording, same jokes in the same places. It's like they're paid for one speech from the writer. Yeah, I've only watched maybe like 2 of her speech, and a lot of them were the same. So maybe with all the controversy going on with her VP, there's going to be something different this time. I know he's facing a lot of stolen ballot claims, so hopefully at least in his speech from last night, there's some kind of rebuttal. You would think he would want to defend himself somehow. Hopefully they're not just going to try and ignore all of that going on. So I'm going to switch over to this one. And when does he come out? Right about. That's pretty good, actually. I'm going to run to the restroom really quick, and then I'll come back. I'm going to watch this one. This one's actually a lot shorter. For whatever reason, Harris doesn't speak that long. All right, now I'm back. Put the headphones on. Ooh, hit the mic, sorry. Should we do a dog check before we start this one? Really quick. Dog check. Oof, where is he? Other side. Oh, he switched it on me. There he is. It's off camera, though. Oh. Man, I suck at this. Dog check. Look at his punk ass. All right, yeah, he's chilling with us. He's my co-pilot. Helps me with my stream, you know. Sets up all the equipment. All right. Let me flip back. All right, so this is going to be Kamala Harris's rally from last night. Yeah, let's go ahead and watch it.
And then on
Sweep
Wednesday,
absolutely,
the largest crowd of the campaign
absolutely to the dog, being my co-pilot.
Showed up in Detroit, Michigan. But Arizona just...
I don't know if we could call it stolen valor. What was Walt's MOS in the Army? Do we know? So the thing with him being accused of stolen valor was that, and this is just what I heard, and I watched the interview with some dude he was in the unit with, allegedly. Who knows? We don't know these people actually. Thank you for the follow there on Twitch. That's really helpful because I don't have a lot of people on Twitch. I only have like, what is it, 21 followers over there now? But anyway, Tim Walz, what he's being accused of is the Iraq war breaks out. He's training all of his people, and then he pretty much laid down his retirement paperwork because he didn't want to go to Iraq. I don't know what his defense to that is yet. Hopefully he's going to bring it up here in this conversation. We'll see what he has to say. I'm sure he has to have something planned by now because this has been going on for like a week. So the couch thing, I don't know. They were saying something about JD Vance like humping a couch or something. I don't get it. And then the counter argument with that is now Tim Walz and a horse. I don't know what's going on with that stuff. That stuff seemed like just silly, like mudslinging. Doesn't make sense at all. But anyway, let's keep it rolling.
Just couldn't leave it alone, could you? Wow. You know, it's not as if anybody cares about crowd sizes or anything. So. Wow. Let me begin by giving a few thanks to some people here and a few dear folks to us. First of all, I want to thank Arizona for sharing Senator Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords with the rest of the country. Gabby was a classmate of mine in '06, and they are both national treasures. Thank you, Arizona. Also had the privilege of serving with Congressman Gallego, and I'll have to tell you, he was an amazing colleague, and I have to tell you, he's going to be an amazing senator. But we get a twofer with Ruben because we know who is never going to be a United States senator. To all the local elected officials, thank you. But the most important thank you to each and every one of you. Look, you took time out of your busy lives. You found babysitters. You took time off work. You walked for miles in. Look, I'm a Minnesotan. I'm like a damn snowman. I'm melting here. We walk on water half the year in Minnesota. It's so damn cold. But not you. You came. And you came into this space with neighbors. And you came here for one beautiful, simple reason. You love this democracy.
They're really trying to sell him as coach and make him seem relatable.
I'll tell you what.
Democrats have just started chanting USA. They did that in the last rally too. Never before have they ever did any kind of chanting of USA, so it's weird, but cool. They should be, you know, America.
Wow, wow, wow. Well, I couldn't be prouder to stand with you, and I couldn't be prouder to be on this ticket. You know what's at the end of this little journey? Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. This is a leader who wakes up every day on the side of the American people. This is...
That is... For a presidential candidate that they're saying slept her way to the top, that is not a reference you should make for her.
She will take on the predators. She will take on the fraudsters. She will take on the transnational gangs. And she will stand up to the corporate interests and put middle America first. And she's been effective. She's been willing to reach across the aisle no matter what, just to make sure it improves people's lives. And I'll have to tell you, I know a little something about commitment to people. Some of you heard this. I was born in a small town in Nebraska. And we talk about small towns. These are those Nebraskans that moved out here for the winter, so. But look, small town was all about community. My mom and dad, they taught us to show some care to your neighbors, show some generosity, work towards a common good, be a decent human being to your neighbors.
Sure. Of course.
My dad, and some of you know him in here, you had him, a chain-smoking Korean War era veteran, cared about his community, but 2 days after I turned 17, he took me down to join the Army National Guard. And for 24 years, I proudly wore that uniform.
Why hasn't Middle America been a priority the last 3.5 years? Yeah, I said that last stream when she came out and she was answering questions. This was Harris. And she says, if I'm elected president, we're going to bring inflation down. And everybody's looking at her like, well, you are actually in a leadership position now. If you can just bring the inflation down, why don't you just do it now? Like, come on.
I'm proud of that service, but what my nation gave my dad and millions of others and me was an opportunity to use the GI Bill to get a college education.
Yay, GI Bill.
My dad was a teacher. My brothers and sisters and I all became teachers. And we married teachers.
I still haven't used my GI Bill. I don't know what to use it for.
I had the privilege of teaching high school social studies for 20 years. And you might have heard, coaching a state championship football team. Now if the Vikings could just win, that would be the Weber. And look. That worked better near Green Bay, I'll tell you. So, look, it was my students. It was my students who encouraged me to run. They saw in me what I hope to instill in them, a commitment to a common good. the true belief that one person, one of us in here can make a difference in somebody's life. I wasn't very politically savvy because I did not know it when I decided to run for Congress that there had been one other Democrat elected in that district since 1892. But my neighbors believed, and they graced me with an opportunity to serve them in the United States Congress for 12 years. And I'm proud of the work I did as ranking member on the Veterans Affairs Committee, working on the Agriculture Committee. And I worked hand in hand with Republicans to make sure that we were crafting legislation that improved the lives of veterans and people all across this country. I learned how to compromise without compromising my values. And as governor of the great state of Minnesota, I brought all of those experiences to the challenges facing the state of Minnesota. This idea about a common good, this idea about something bigger than ourselves, this idea of kindness, generosity, and compassion, that this building, which I have been told, by the way, might be the largest political gathering in the history of Arizona.
Who's saying that football is nothing but ownership of people? I haven't heard of that one before. But I mean, I would say that most of these speeches that the Democrats give, they spend probably half of their speech appealing to emotion, and they don't really talk about policy. That's the downside that I see in any kind of speech that they give, because that I'm more like that logical thinker. I want it to be an equation. Obviously, emotion's going to appeal to a lot of people, and especially you see the people here that's going to appeal to, and that's going to get a lot of votes. But for me, I need the framework. Like, okay, what are you actually doing? Are you waiting to get elected before you come out and you say that you're going to take people's ARs from them? Is that your plan? And all the other crazy shit that we actually heard that they were going to do. So it'd be really nice if we had reporters asking them questions, like if she was actually taking interviews from journalists, because people want to know, like, what is your plan? All right, what's your gun policy? What is going to be this new abortion policy that you're thinking of? You know, all of those big issues, you know, this isn't really helping.
I think it's safe to say Donald Trump sees the world a little differently than we do. First and foremost, and be very clear about this, he doesn't know the first thing about service. It's hard to provide service when you're too busy serving only yourself. Again and again and again, Donald Trump weakens our country to strengthen his own hands. You've watched him mock our laws. You watched him sow chaos and division at every opportunity. And that's to say nothing of his record as president. As governors, he froze during COVID and pitted us in a hunger game against our neighbors to try and find basic life-saving needs. And because of him, our neighbors died. By failing to address COVID, he drove the economy into the ground. And let's be very clear. The statistics and the facts are clear about this. Violent crime was up under Donald Trump. And we don't even have to count his crimes in that to make it up. So, still. Look, better yet, beat the hell out of him at the ballot box. Beat the hell out of him at the ballot box. Look, you and I, especially the gray hairs in the crowd, we know our relatives. Republicans used to be the people talking about freedom. Not this group. When they talk about freedom, it means that the government should be free to invade your exam room with your doctor.
While his COVID and peaceful protest responses weren't great either. Yeah, and I think he came out after the fact and said that his leadership wasn't great during those periods, that he made a lot of bad decisions. I didn't see that in an interview myself. I don't know where I'm remembering that from, but I don't know if I read it somewhere or something that he admitted to it. If he did admit to it, maybe learn from his mistakes, it wouldn't seem that bad. But yeah, his response was pretty terrible.
Look, in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make. We maybe wouldn't make the same choices, but we respect them. And I know in Minnesota and in Arizona and places across this country, you know what makes society work best is when you learn a golden rule. Mind your own damn business. Mind your own damn business. You don't need it. I don't need you telling me what books to read. I don't need you telling me about what religion we worship. And I sure the heck don't need you to tell me about my family. Look, this one's personal for me. This one's personal for me about IVF and reproductive care. When my wife and I, my wife of 30 years, because yes, we share family values, we just make our own damn choices about our family.
Yeah, you're right, Chad. He pretty much said the exact same thing last time I watched him.
But when we wanted to have children, we went through years of fertility treatment. And I remember it was like it was yesterday, just waiting for good news. And then the phone would ring and you would be tensed up. And then you would hear that the treatments had failed. It would blot out the sun that you just wanted something so beautiful and so simple to have a child. And then one day, and it wasn't by chance, when that news came and we welcomed our daughter into the world,
nice.
We named her Hope. We named her Hope.
I don't understand what his point is here, because Trump's not trying to ban IVF treatment. So I don't really know where he's going with this.
I'm not crying, you're crying. So when Vice President Harris and I talk about freedom, we're very clear. We mean the freedom to make your own healthcare decisions. And for all of our children to be free to go to school without worrying they'll be shot dead in their classroom. And in Minnesota, believe me, we believe in the Second Amendment, but we also believe in common sense gun violence laws. I remind my colleagues when I was in Congress, Ruben could tell this story. For 3 years in a row, I was the top gun in the congressional trap shoot, so we can shoot better than them too, just by the way.
So far, I'm trying to just find out what their policies are. I wish they would just write it down and put it on their website already, just like Trump has on his website. But what I've heard so far is, and really didn't come out and say this, but he's pretty much saying, we're going to take your ARs. That's what we've seen so far. And they're going to return abortion back to be federally legal. So the abortion thing, cool. I'm all for that one. But when they start talking about taking ARs, that's when I'm out again. I think Alabama was trying to ban it. The left then came out and said it was due to Roe versus Wade being overturned. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. But banning IVF is stupid all around. If that was actually going to happen in Alabama, I don't know why anybody would be supporting that. That just sounds stupid.
When Vice President Harris talks about freedom, it's when freedom is when education is a ticket to the middle class, not crippling student loan debt.
But they don't have policies in place to stop the current student loans still going out. Like, if they're still going to do the Biden forgive all of our loans thing and then still keep making student loans, I'm not on board. You need to have an actual solution. And him just saying that is just another appeal to emotion, because they're not going to do shit.
And this building and what we believe in, we are people that settle our political differences not through violence, but through voting. It's a simple.
It's like those riots never happened then.
Imagine every person in here is going to vote, and every person in here is going to get 10 other people to vote. And let's just go ahead and not go through this thing that it's so close. Let's just win big, people. Let's just win big.
Big win.
That's our choice. How often you get a choice so simple that this is going to decide the direction of our country? We have 87.
If I remember, it started when the IVF clinic in Alabama accidentally destroyed some IVF eggs and the father of the eggs passed away or something like that. Yeah, I'm completely out of the loop on that story. But yeah, if they're trying to ban that for whatever reason, that just sounds stupid.
7 days to decide the direction we're going to go. And I've been saying it. We can do anything for 87 days. Anything. And my mantra is, and look, you can see it on me over the last 5 days, we'll sleep when we're dead. We'll sleep when we're dead. Not now.
Sleep is
Not
for the
now.
weak.
Look, you know it, and I know it, but I think we need to be reminded. You know exactly what Donald Trump's plans are. You know which direction he's taking us. Don't believe this guy. Don't believe. That's like, listen, no one in here believes this guy. So anyway, but don't believe it when he's playing dumb about this Project 2025.
Oh, here we go.
He knows exactly what it'll do. They are not playing. They wrote their plan out. But just like they're getting arrogant about it, they're saying the quiet stuff out loud. It'll take our freedoms. It'll rig the economy for the super rich.
He literally just did a speech about taking our freedom as he just before was talking about taking our freedoms from our guns.
Fund veterans. And you know that if he goes back again, he's not only going to let go where he left off, it is going to be much, much, much worse.
No, you just said you wanted to take our freedoms.
So look, rising costs, pulling health care from us, you know the whole routine. Look, I get this too. I know I'm preaching to the choir, a damn big and beautiful choir. But practice is over, people. The choir needs to sing. The choir needs to sing. Trump's not fighting for your family. He doesn't give a damn. And his running mate shares the same dangerous, twisted, backward agenda. Yeah.
If you had a plan to take the freedoms of the country, would you really post it online? That's a good point. But they don't have any plans posted online. They have no agenda. They don't have anything of what they're going to do if they get elected. Well, Trump has a plan. You can look at his plan online. You could say, I like this, I don't like this, whatever. But for Harris, there's no plan. They give us little bits and pieces of, yeah, we're going to take your guns, or common sense gun laws, we're going to take your guns, or the abortion thing. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. But there's no like laid out plan. That bothers me a lot. And it's probably from military service. Like, we always had our SOPs. We always had, this is what we're going to do. Here's our contingency plans, that kind of thing. But if they have nothing and they're not going to tell us what they're going to do until they're being elected, that pretty much says you don't have a plan. You don't know what you're going to do. You're just kind of winging it, which is kind of what it seems like Biden's been doing all along. He's just really winging it. He didn't really have a strong plan on anything.
Every kid in my class of 25 studied at Yale, had their career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then writes a book trashing the very people who raised you. I've said it. It wasn't a name. It was an observation. These guys come up with the weirdest damn ideas that you will ever imagine. You know it's true. But here's the good news. We know the stakes. We know who they are. When they told us, we believed them. We know what's coming. But here's the big thing about it is, that's a reality that's not going to happen because the people in this building and millions across the country. This is a campaign about the future. We know what's there. We know it can come. We're not people who are afraid of the future. We shape the future. Kamala Harris believes in the freedom to make your own choices. She believes in the opportunity for every single person to enter the middle class. And she believes something so beautiful. She believes in the promise of America.
She believes in equity for all.
Promise of America. So I want to say thank you, Madam Vice President, for the trust you placed in me. And I want to say something else, that this incredible leader, this incredible woman has brought to this fight.
Nothing is more shitty than put me there and then I'll tell you what I'm doing. Kind of like learning an interest rate on a car after signing the contract. It never turns out good for you. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, tell us what you're going to do. Give us the roadmap. I would even give it to her like, okay, yeah, she was selected very late in the election. Give her some time, to put up her plans, sort things out. But it's been weeks now. Like, you should have some kind of idea. You're out here doing all of these rallies. You're doing mini rallies, right? She's out here all the time appealing to emotion, but you're not taking the time to actually know what you're running for. Like, come on.
Back compassion and decency and humor and joy to our politics. So Arizona, bring that joy with you. Bring those smiles. Bring that positive future as you join me in welcoming the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Oh, kill the music because it's going to get me demonetized. So here Harris comes, and she's going to come out here and she's going to tell us exactly what she's going to do. She's going to clear up our questions. She's going to explain what her plan is. She's going to make it all nice and clear, right? She's going to tell us why she's running, what her roadmap is, the changes she's going to make, how her campaign is going to be different from Biden and what we're seeing now. It's going to be great. She's not going to talk about the passage of time and how time is ever fleeting and time is a structure of time. She's going to be very clear. Very happy, I can see. They still got the music on. If they kill the music, I'll turn it back on. All right, they killed the music. There it is. This is her last rally, so surely this is the most up-to-date policies that you're gonna get. So if you're gonna ban my AR, just tell me. That way I won't vote for you. She doesn't normally speak for very long. Let's see. Yeah, it looked like 40 minutes I think she speaks for. Depending on what's in between, if they have like governors coming out or whatnot.
Good evening.
she was going to say she was elected VP, elected senator, elected AG, elected DA, and she has dealt with her fair share of criminals. And Donald Trump is a felon, and I know how to deal with felons. What are you gonna do? Okay, what are you gonna do with him? Please tell us, because we want to know. All right, let's do it.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Let's go.
Can we hear it for Tim Walz?
Yay, Tim Walz.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's good to be back in Arizona. Good evening, everyone. Oh my goodness. Thank you all so very much. Oh, it is good to be back. Let me just say, let me just start by thanking everyone who is here. Thank you all so very much. All of you. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We are going to do this.
What are we going to do? Tell us. What are we doing?
And I want to thank all of the incredible leaders who are here, including Congressman Greg Stanton, your next United States Senator, Congressman Ruben Gallego, and my dear friend, United States Senator Mark Kelly. And let me just say, as Arizona knows, Mark is an extraordinary leader who has dedicated his life to the service of our nation as a fighter pilot, as an astronaut, and as a member of the United States Congress. And he has given so much to our country. He always fights for the people of Arizona. And I am so grateful, Mark, for your friendship and your leadership. And of course, the phenomenal Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. There are also an incredible group of mayors with us today.
Is she counting Arizona as going to the border since it's a border state? Probably.
Mayor Kate
But she's not the border czar.
Gallego, Mayor Corey Woods, and Arizona co-chair of Republicans for Harris, Mayor John Giles. So today, I also bring greetings from our incredible President, Joe Biden.
Who can't be found. We have no idea where he is.
And I know we are all deeply grateful for his lifetime of service to our nation, and we thank Joe Biden each and every day for all he is and all he has done and all he has yet to do. Let us thank him always.
I don't know. Pretty sure Joe's done.
So, Arizona, this has been a big week. On Monday, I officially became the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. And on Tuesday, I announced my running mate in this campaign, Governor Tim Walz. And as you all just heard, Tim has a great record as governor of the great state of Minnesota. And to those who know him best, Tim goes by a few more titles besides governor. To his wife, Gwen,
Term limits everywhere so we don't have lifelong politicians. Yeah, he just announced that, and he has like 5 months left before he's getting kicked out.
Thank you. So Tim, we know him by governor, but you'll soon get to know his wife, Gwen, to whom, you know what? Hold on a second. Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
What's happening?
Hold on. Here's the thing. We are all in here together. I'm told an extraordinary number of folks who are here together because we love our country. We're here to fight for our democracy.
Something was happening.
Which includes respecting the voices that I think that we are hearing from. And let me just say this on topic of what I think I'm hearing over there. Let me just speak to that for a moment, and then I'm going to get back to the business at hand.
What were they chanting?
So let me say, I have been clear. Now is the time to get a ceasefire deal and get the hostage deal done.
Okay. Probably some pro-Palestine
stuff.
stuff.
Time. And the president and I are working around the clock every day to get that ceasefire deal done and bring the hostages home. So I respect your voices, but we are here to now talk about this race in 2024.
So shut up. Pretty much what she said.
So, Tim Walz. So let's just say this. Besides being governor, the thing I've come to learn about Tim Walz that you have known and may learn more, he's an extraordinary person. He's known by many titles. To his wife, Gwen, he is husband. To his kids, Hope and Gus, he is dad. To the people of southern Minnesota for 12 years, he was congressman. To his former high school students, he was Mr. Walz.
They could just cut out probably like 70% of this because nobody cares. Just tell us your policies.
And to his former high school football players, he was coach.
Don't care.
And in 88 days, the nation will know coach.
Essentially, she just said that they don't matter, and she probably secretly sent a signal to get them out. Do they have security there? You think they would have somebody to kind of scoot them along and get them out, especially if they're ruining her speech.
Coach Walz by a new title. Vice President of the United States. So it's so good to be back in Arizona, and I thank you all for turning out today. This is an extraordinary, extraordinary thing. And Arizona, I'll also say this, as exciting as this is, we cannot lose sight of a really important fact. We are definitely running as the underdog. We are the underdog. We are out in great numbers, but we got a lot of work to do. And this is going to be hard work, but I know we like hard work. Hard work is good work for all of us. Hard work is good work. And we will do it with joy.
Will we?
And I know we are all clear about what we are up against. As many of you know, before I was elected vice president, I was an elected United States Senator. Before that, I was an elected Attorney General, and before that, an elected District Attorney. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. So I took on, in these roles, perpetrators of all kinds.
There, she's gonna say
Predators
it.
who abused women.
She's gonna say it.
Fraudsters who ripped off consumers.
Boo.
scammers who broke the rules for personal gain.
People who smoked weed.
So Arizona, hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Hard work is good work. That is how wealth distribution works. Exactly. Equity for all.
I do. In fact, I've been dealing with people like him my entire career. For example, as Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that scammed students. Well, Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students.
She already said this.
As a prosecutor, I specialized in cases of sexual abuse. Well, Donald Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse.
Don't they think that Newsom would have been better than this? I'm really not trying to just shit all over Kamala, but I don't like Newsom, but when I look at him, like, don't you think he would have been a better candidate?
As Attorney General, I held Wall Street banks accountable for fraud. Well, Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud, 34 counts. So all of this, yeah, the courts will deal with that. We're going to win in November. We're going to win in November. We'll handle that too. So, but all of this is to say,
same speech,
in
different
this
day.
campaign, I will proudly put my record against his every day of the week. Every day of the week. But make no mistake, that being said, our campaign is not just about us versus Donald Trump. It is about, and I love you, Bob.
California needs Newsom right now because of the political party affiliation. Who goes and doesn't go as often and can be influenced by the parties. Both sides do it. Yeah, but you think they would have a better chance of having overall political influence, obviously as the president, than just holding on to California, because California is always going to be a blue state. You could take Newsom anywhere, right? Take him out, put him in the president, put anybody in that slot, they're still going to vote for a Democrat.
Our campaign is about two different...
I'm sure there are plenty of better candidates, but you can't replace a female woman of color with a middle-aged white man. Ooh, you got a point there, actually. That would have been a bad look. Yes. Do they have any other female of color people that would have been better? I can't really think of any right now. I think she's it. Yep, I think she's it. You might have nailed it.
Visions for our nation. One, ours, focused on the future. The other, focused on the past. And Arizona, we fight for the future. A future with affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid leave. A future where we build a broad-based economy where every American has an opportunity to own a home, to start a business, to build wealth.
I want to own a home.
Here with us today, I know we have a number of Native leaders. And as president, I will tell you, I will always honor tribal sovereignty and respect tribal self-determination.
Okay.
And fight for a future where every Native Native person can realize their aspirations, and every Native community is a place of opportunity. We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families.
I assume when you're asking about tribal sovereignty, she's talking about like different reservations. Like, they had the issue with the pipeline not too long ago, things like that. They're not going to disrupt any kind of native lands.
So that they have the chance not just to get by, but to get ahead.
While Donald Trump is the flip side of that, drill baby drill, that's what she's getting at. Trump bad, Orange Man bad.
Because look, while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. When I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, I will continue that work to bring down prices. I will take on big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging. I will take on corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families. I will take on big pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans. And all of this is to say, unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first. Because you see, Coach Walls and I know the middle class built the United States of America. And when the middle class is strong, America is strong.
America.
And while we work to move our nation forward, look, Donald Trump, be very clear, intends to move us backward. Just look.
Boo.
And we're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. No. But just look at his, Tim talked about it. Look at his Project 2025 agenda. It's 900 plus pages. I can't believe they put that thing in writing, by the way. But when you look at it, when you read it, you will see Project 2025 is a plan to weaken the middle class. If he is elected, Donald Trump intends to give a tax break to billionaires and big corporations. He intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to surrender our fight against the climate crisis. And Arizona, every day you feel the impact of extreme heat and drought. You know this crisis is real.
Thanks for the like there on YouTube.
He calls it a hoax. And on top of all of this, if Donald Trump wins in November, he intends to end the Affordable Care Act and take us back to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. You remember what that was? Remember what that was? He won't win. You're right.
I almost thought that guy said we won't win.
We will win. We will win.
It really sounds like they're saying we won't win.
And part of why we are going to win is because we remember. And we are smart.
Yeah.
And we know what's happening.
And we're not falling for the gaslighting, and we're not falling for the okey doke. That's why. So look, America has tried so many of those failed policies before, and like we all know, we're not going back. We will move forward and take on the biggest issues facing our nation. For example, the issue of immigration. So I was Attorney General of a border state.
Here we go.
I went after the transnational gangs, the drug cartels, and human traffickers. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won. So I know what I'm talking about. We know our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it. Comprehensive reform that includes strong border security and an earned pathway to citizenship.
Did you see the outrage about her necklace that apparently cost about $64K? What's the outrage about it? She's obviously really wealthy. Why can't she buy a necklace?
Trump does not want to fix this problem. Be clear about that. He has no interest or desire to actually fix the problem. He talks a big game about border security, but he does not walk the walk. Earlier this year, everybody here knows, earlier this year we had a chance to pass the toughest bipartisan border security bill in decades. But Donald Trump tanked the deal. Because he thought by doing that it would help him win an election. But when I am president, I will sign the bill.
All right.
So Arizona, ours is a fight for the future, and it is a fight for freedom. Okay.
So what's in this bill? Is it just to fortify this wall that they wanted to build? Is that all they're talking about? Because even then that's weird, because Trump wanted to build the wall and the Democrats were so against it. And now she's campaigning on building a wall that the Republicans refused to sign a bill for that wall. Does that sound legit? That sounds weird.
Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault against hard-fought, hard-won freedom.
Wasn't the building a wall that was somehow stopped January 20th of 21? That's what I'm saying, right? Wasn't that like a thing of the past? And then they came to a different deal now? That's... what?
Freedoms and rights. The freedom to vote. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. And the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do.
Because you remember Trump's initial campaign was, I'm going to build the wall. And they said he was a racist. So now Democrats want to build the wall, but Republicans denied it, obviously, because they want Trump to come in and be the hero, right?
And on that last point, understand how we got here. When he was president, Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court.
No Democrats did not want to build the wall. I specifically remember when Trump was campaigning his first term, he wanted to build the wall and they called him a racist. That's definitely not true.
With the intention that they would
It was on every news channel, this racist, he doesn't support minorities because he wants to build this wall and it's stupid and it's expensive. Literally every media outlet was saying that.
Turn and undo the protections of Roe v. Wade.
A wall is an absurd idea. Our border and immigration process needs reform. Yeah, I mean, we can agree that it's a stupid idea. Maybe that's true, but definitely Democrats did not support the wall when Trump was running for his first term.
And as he intended, they did. And now, in over 20 states in our nation, there is a Trump abortion ban.
Yeah, it's not everything.
Many like Arizona with no exceptions, even for rape or incest.
These last 2 years, was Biden taking credit for what Trump did? Lowering insulin prices was done under Trump, but vetoed when Biden took office. Now, the EL? Okay.
And just yesterday, in a press conference, we got a fresh reminder of what Donald Trump's Project 2025 agenda would do. It would ban medication abortion in every state.
That's not what Trump is doing. Trump is leaving it up to the states. That right there was definitely a lie. But now you could say that that's dangerous for women in those states that are going to ban abortion. We could definitely agree on that it's bad overall. But to say he's going to overall ban abortion, she's not being honest again.
We are not going to let that happen because we trust women. And when I am President of the United States and when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedoms for every woman in America, I will sign it into law. So listen, here's the thing that we all know. Here's the thing we all know. Generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. Now, the baton is in our hands. Each and every one of us. So we who believe in the sacred freedom to vote will finally pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. The freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass an assault weapons ban.
Okay, she said it right there. So she lost my vote right there from assault weapons.
Universal background checks and red flag laws.
She can't do it. You could still vote for Kamala if you're a gun person because she can't go around and take your gun. Like, that's still impossible. It's not going to happen.
On the line in this election. And understand, this is not 2016, and this is not 2020. You know, this time around, the stakes are even higher. And that's because last month, the United States Supreme Court basically just told the former president, who has been convicted of fraud, that going...
How's it going to happen? What are they going to do? Majority of Congress, what are they going to do? They're going to come to my house and try to take my AR? Because that's not going to work. And I know a lot of other Americans, that's just not going to work. Like, American culture is built on owning firearms and having your Second Amendment. They literally can't. And most of the cops that they would try to get to rally up these guns, they're not going to do it. So you're facing an impossible task. Maybe it's not sold openly in gun stores, things that could actually be like raided and, could actually face penalties, but you're still going to have ARs everywhere. There's so many ARs just in this country in general.
Going forward, he will be effectively immune no matter what he does in the White House. But think about what that means. Think about what that means in this election. Think about what that means. He's been effectively told he will be immune if he's back in the White House. Think about what that means when you remember Donald Trump has openly vowed if
they can propose an amendment to the Constitution to around the language of a well-regulated militia for rights to bear arms, the gun lobby is about to get kicked in the nuts. Even if they do that, it's not going to matter because American gun owners are not going to give up their guns. That's what I'm telling you. Like, you cannot stop people from owning guns. They're going to do it. What are they going to do? They're going to ask the police, like I said, to come round up these guns from every household? That's just dangerous. You're asking for a cop to get shot if that's done. And most police are not going to do it because most of them support the Second Amendment. They're going to tell you no.
if reelected, he will be a dictator on day one. That he will weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Remember that he even called for the, quote, termination of the Constitution of the United States. Understand what this means. And let us be very clear. Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the...
You don't get to talk bad about someone saying they're going to terminate the Constitution, which I would question if he actually did say that or not. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. I don't know where she's pulling that from. But when you're talking about taking away American rights, you can't come back and bash somebody for saying that they're going to do it with the Constitution, because you're doing the same thing. So what is your logic?
The United States president, never again. Never again.
Okay, even if he did say that, I don't know if he said it or not. I'm not saying he did or didn't, but I'm saying if he did, you're saying the same thing. So why are they cheering for her? Because she's trying to trash the Constitution too. There's no logic, man. It makes no sense.
So Arizona, it all comes down to this.
It is the same thing.
We are here because we love our country. We love our country. Love our country.
You're interpreting it as the same. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Form
I am interpreting it as the same thing because that's what I believe.
Of patriotism to fight for the ideals of our country. That's how we preserve the promise of America. And after all, the promise of America is what makes it possible for Governor Walz and me to be on the same stage together. Because think, two middle-class kids. One, a daughter of Oakland, California, who was raised by a working mother, had a summer job at McDonald's. The other, a son of Nebraska Plains, who grew up working on a farm. Think about it. Only in America is it possible for them together to make it all the way to the White House. Only in America. Only in America. So we together, all of us, we're running this campaign on behalf of all Americans, from red states to blue states, from the heartland to the coast. And when we are elected, we will govern on behalf of all Americans. All Americans. So Arizona,
Ultimately, in this election, I do believe we each one of us, we face a question. That question being, what kind of country do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a country of chaos, fear, and hate?
Yes. Public discourse. We still got to keep it friendly. Not that anybody's doing anything crazy, but still, I want to keep it friendly.
Or a country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law? And the beauty of our democracy is that we each have the power to answer that question. Each one of us in a democracy has the power to answer that question. The power is with the people. And in the next, then 88 days, we need you to use your power. We need you to knock on some doors.
Vote for me.
We need you to register folks to vote. We need you to energize, to mobilize, to organize, and to make your voices heard. So Arizona, I ask, are you ready to make your voices heard?
Do we believe in freedom? Cool, I'm gonna take your guns.
Opportunity! Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win! God bless you and God bless the United States of America.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, man. So there you go. There is Harris's speech. We watched both of them to try and get an opinion on Trump and Harris to see where they're at right now. And that's going to be it. What else is going on in politics? Let me check and see if anything happened. It's Saturday, so both of them are probably not doing a rally. Sometimes Trump does a rally, actually. Nevada rally. Actually, no. Harris is doing a rally at 5:30. I'm a liar. That's thunder. If you just heard it outside, it's about to storm here. Other things, politics, Venezuela's insane government. I don't know. Yeah, I saw the riots going on when that dude was announced president. That was pretty interesting. They had some pretty good coverage on YouTube of them clashing with the police. Or maybe the Ukraine war where Putin is getting all of his people slaughtered because of his corruption. Yeah, I heard also that Ukraine is moving into Russia. That was, I think, during the last press brief from the White House that they were asking if they were moving into Russia. So that's new. That's interesting. Can you really fault them for pushing back into Russia? I mean, they're over there slaughtering Ukrainians. Shouldn't they have the right to push back? Yeah. Definitely a complicated situation because I'm sure NATO is not going to want them to push back into Russia. They're going to want to calm the fires, but apparently they already did, so it don't really matter. Ukraine is a sovereign nation. They have a right to protect themselves. They got a taste of democracy and don't want to let it go. Yeah, totally agree. And I mean, they were attacked first as well, so they have all the right to fight back, in my opinion. I wouldn't fault them for that either. If you broke into my house and tried to kill me and I kill you and then I go over and kill your family, I think that's probably what you deserve. Kidding, just kidding. So, yeah, Kamala's speaking 5:30. Let's see if Trump is doing a counter campaign. Ooh, he just added something. The 14th. So not today. He's taking the weekend off. Yeah, it's okay for us to disagree without that ability. We're animals. Yeah. So yeah, Trump is not speaking again until Wednesday, actually, not just the weekend. Kamala is pushing heavy into her campaign. She has been rallying like all week. I think she had at least like 3 events. Let's see. Oh, but Monday for Trump, he is going to be speaking with Elon Musk on X. If I stream that, you think they're going to copyright strike me? Isn't Elon supposed to be all about free speech and all that nonsense? I almost want to try and streaming it. Should be a good conversation, I would think. Is it even worth watching a Kamala speech? It's the same thing it always says, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, man. It pretty much was the same thing. I don't think she changed up anything in that speech at all. I guess I was just hoping to see something different, but I don't think she's going to say anything different until she starts doing like press briefings, media briefings, if she even does them. That's the major pushback that she's really facing, is that she's not talking to the media. She's not taking questions. So she's not taking any hits. Meanwhile, Trump is going out there and he is taking the hits. They might try it. Yeah, I think they might. At this point, the Harris speeches will be rinse and repeat, but at debates, things will be different. Sweep is right. Yeah, these debates, I'm ready for. They're going to be interesting. Those for sure I will definitely be streaming. There's one technically confirmed, but Trump said that he wanted 3. They've only agreed to the ABC one, which kind of makes Harris look bad because she's only agreeing to moderators that are on her side. Meanwhile, Trump's already done a CNN debate. She should agree to all of them. Remember how they left Elon and his electric cars until he bought Twitter? Oh, remember how the left loved Elon? Yeah, exactly. They did until he endorsed Trump. Really, they started hating him once he bought Twitter and he exposed all the corruption that was going on in Twitter. They're controlling their messaging, which is evidence of organization and control, which is trustworthy to me. Why do you like politics? So the only reason I was actually watching this stuff was because I was trying to decide on who I wanted to vote for. So that's why I watch all the rallies. I'm watching all the debates just to kind of get my impressions on what these people actually believe, what they're lying about. And it's mainly just for me to decide on who I'm going to vote for this year, because I do plan on voting in this election. I did say I got to get registered because I'm lazy. So I got to get down there and register myself before it's too late. But because that's what happened last election. I went to vote and they're like, "You haven't registered." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." So I didn't vote at all last election cycle. Can you do it online? I didn't know you could do it online. I'm voting for Asteroid 2024. Yeah, if you can do that online, that'd be really easy and simple for me. Sometimes they just mail you everything. Man, I've moved so much that it's like nobody even knows where I'm at. Oh, you hear that? It must be really starting to storm out there. But yeah, I gotta get on it. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do all that. But for now, yeah, I'm streaming politics because my whole goal is to figure out who I want to vote for. Vote.org, a nonpartisan website that allows you to register to vote online securely and quickly in under 2 minutes. I'll have to check that out. Simple enough name too. Time saving is what I like. Yeah, me too. Try to catch you later today. I have to be middle class so I can go to work on my car because I'm poor. Okay, man. I'm actually probably going to sign off here too because it doesn't look like anything's happening right now. She's not speaking until 5:30. And I don't know if I'm going to stream her rally or not because she's probably just going to say the same thing. Probably edit some of these videos and then post them and see how it's going. All right, man. Hopefully I see you next stream. Is Easy Game still here? No, I think he left already. All right. Thank you all for hanging out. I'm going to sign off.